Radio, 92.3 The Fan. In Odyssey Sports Station.
92.3 The Fan, 2020 Sports.
Guardians failed to secure the series win against the Twins last night after they fell 10-6 over at Progressive Field. A bright spot in last night's loss, the team saw the return of Jose Ramirez in his first time back at the plate.
And hopefully, it may take Jose a little bit to get going after missing a bunt. But I don't think so.
Well, not that long.
Maybe one swing.
He's back. A one-out single for Jose Ramirez in his return.
That sound is courtesy of Guardians TV. The seven-time All-Star missed a total of 5 weeks after suffering a broken hamate bone in his left hand. In his return, Ramirez went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a score. Slade Ciccone in his start gave up 7 hits, 3 earned runs while striking out 5 through 4 2/3 innings of work. Around the AL Central, White Sox bounced back from their shutout loss to the Rangers on Tuesday for a 4-2 win over Texas yesterday, putting them back ahead of the Guardians by a game in the division. And we're going on day 24 of LeBron's free agency, and it doesn't look like it'll be coming to an end anytime soon. Our very own Andy Baskin reported yesterday that LeBron's camp was irritated with Adam Silver pushing him for a decision, and he was ready to make an announcement last week but decided to hold off. And we got a report last night from Kevin O'Connor of Yahoo Sports saying that LeBron is slow playing his decision to see if any of the teams on his list could trade for either Anthony Davis or Kyrie Irving. You can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
The countdown to Browns training camp is on, and the QB competition has just begun. Get ready for Cleveland Browns football. The radio home of the Cleveland Browns, 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
We got football practices coming up here. We got baseball that's back in full swing after the All-Star break. Let's go. You can only care about these things for so long before you go, okay, either make your decision or you don't. I do think there is a law of diminishing returns here, and he's flirting with not striking while the iron's hot.
So the idea here is that if LeBron makes his decision today, they're going to be less excited than if he had made the same decision 2 weeks ago. Your thoughts on that general opinion by 3 separate hosts on this station?
If he makes the decision to come back to Cleveland, everyone is going to be elated, thrilled, excited, and it's going to be the same amount as if it took a week for the decision to happen. We didn't know how long this was going to take. I don't think any of us thought it would be this long, but guess what? He's LeBron James. Does he owe anyone an apology? People out there are like, he owes us an apology because we have to wait, and it's really affecting our lives. How is it really? We're just waiting. It's an interesting topic to talk about. I'm not losing sleep over this, but am I going to be less excited if he announces that he comes back to Cleveland today or next week? Are you kidding me? Child, please.
Child.
It's LeBron James.
This is Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Hi,
What's going on, Kenny?
Fana. What a beaut.
How do you feel about Fanta being so nice to all of us during our panel discussion?
I feel stabbed in the back.
With the broadcasting boot camp, the next era of potential Cleveland broadcasters. Fanta rolled out the red carpet. He could not stop talking about how, unbelievable. Ken Carman is the voice of the city. Lima should be doing this, and you guys are so talented. And then he does that. He pulled that on you, Ken Carman. Unbelievable.
I feel like Brendan Gleeson in Gangs in New York. I started walking away, and then he just took the hatchet and wung it into my back, and I'm dying. That's how I feel, Fanta.
Now, do you think yesterday's curriculum was how to do a heel turn?
That'd be great.
People that you've been
nice that was good stuff.
Because
that was
masterclass.
Honestly, I was Macho Man on the mat, and here comes Hulk Hogan, and he just laid the leg drop on me.
He probably had, Mike turning on Mike of Mike and Mike. Anthony turning on Opie, all the great radio. Howard Stern turning on his entire staff last week.
In all honesty, this is a safety on.
And these are just notable instances. That's all.
Put the safety on, please. Lord almighty. I totally forgot what I was going to say now. Thanks to you. Okay, so I don't usually do it right off the rip. You guys got to go to the fans' Twitter and all the social media. John's face, which I text him later, I go, did you forget you were on camera? He goes, yes. I was like, oh, that is beautiful. His face, it was like Bob Knight, the game face thing, like making all the faces. He couldn't believe what I was saying. This is my issue with it. This is my issue. I'm not taking personal swings at John for crying out loud because we love John. We do. This is the deal. He and Nick, is Jonathan on Nick's side too?
Pretty much.
And I'm not even taking pot shots. It's not even a pot shot here, okay? I know that there's pot shots taken beyond each other and all that. This ain't it. It's that everybody's getting it wrong. Now, at first, I thought you got it wrong. You have seen the light on how I feel. I will never have the same reaction as what I had in 2014. This is what people are missing. It's not where I'm going to sit here cross-armed and frowning if LeBron James picks the Cavs because it's taken so long. That's not the point. The point is that it's taking an inordinate amount of time, and I would like him to make the decision so we can then get moving in the business of basketball and discuss, if he does choose the Cavs, what does this mean for our chances? What can we do when it comes to, okay, like if he makes his decision, like now there's another report, and we got to get to the basket at 8:20 or 6:20 because that was amazing. But there's other reports of him waiting on Kyrie Irving and seeing whether or not that the Cavs or anybody else can trade for Kyrie or trade for Anthony Davis and all that other stuff. See, this is the issue. If he picks the Cavs, I'm not going to fold my arms and pout and stomp and moan. But I'm not going to react the way I did in 2014. And had he picked him 5 hours after he said that he wasn't going to be a Laker, or if he said he wasn't going to be a Laker and then turned right around and said, I'm joining the Cavs once free agency officially starts, I'm not going to have that same reaction. It can't be the same reaction. In 2014, I got to say this I got to say this slowly because, again, I have several people here who just don't understand it. We traded for a man who is the greatest player in the generation at that time. He wasn't yet the greatest ever. He was the greatest player of the generation at that time, and he was at the peak of his powers. And he came back after a very nasty split. We had owners writing letters to the fans. It was as ugly as it gets, burning things in the road of his. And then he comes back. Of course it's going to be an emotional reaction. But this is a different man. How old was he at that time? Was he 28?
When he came back.
At that time when he came back? 28, 27, somewhere in there. When he came back. Again, this was a man at the peak of his powers. He is 41 now. My first thought, I got to tell you, and I've been telling you guys this, and nobody at this station wants to listen. And that's fine. I know a lot of people, and I'm obviously open to be made fun of. That's cool. Nobody on this station wants to listen except for you two and John to a degree, but he's very busy and he does other things. Because you've come around and like, okay, I kind of understand where Ken's at on this. Nobody wants to listen to this. I don't think championship first if he comes back. I think they have a better chance. When he came back in 2014, it was championship first. Like, oh my God, we got to look at it now. It's not that way. It's a great ending to a tremendous career if he comes back. I would feel satisfied and happy, and I would feel it's a nice story. But in 2014, it was championship first, run around the backyard. Oh, my God, we're just going to go to the finals. This is amazing. We're going to the finals every year. And at that time, I didn't think Golden State was going to be Golden State. I just thought we were going to cruise. It can't be that way. It's a totally different feeling. It's still a nice feeling, but it's totally different in its emotion. And the analogy that people are making, now, did you play the steak thing, Owen, during the Open? I only heard a part of it. You know me. I'm sorry. So John made an analogy to the steak. Like, oh, if you go to a steakhouse and you're waiting a little long for steak, and it's like, well, you'll get... How did he say it? Do we have the clip? I'd love to find the clip because the analogies, everybody's giving the analogies and they're way off. And I don't get that part. And so I don't mean to send Owen on a wild goose chase. I'll hold off on a second because he's very quick at finding this stuff. What do you think of what I just said before I get off on the other tangent?
The thing that makes this tough is we so desperately need him. Like it's not just that, hey, it'd be nice to have the storybook ending regardless of whether they win the championship or not, and being able to spend these last days on earth with somebody, our loved one. The thing is, he's still good. The guy is still good. And no, he's not in his prime, but he has moments in the playoffs last year where it was like, well, that kind of looked like vintage LeBron. Not the jumping and exploding and all that, but just dictating the game and dictating the offense. And then still coming through and helping eliminate a team in the playoffs. Like, that was incredible to me. And we had Dean Wade. And we're debating whether to start every game Max Strus or Dean Wade.
True.
And we were at such a disadvantage. And that, to me, is what complicates us. If we were just great and it didn't matter, then I'd be like, all right, we're not doing this. We're not manipulating the roster for this.
Okay.
But the thing is, you're in Donovan Mitchell's window. You have signed on with this extension
I think
to
they have a better
to
chance.
win immediately.
I think they have a better chance, but I just don't believe that they are just punch your ticket to the finals, go win a championship. When they got him in 2014, it was they're going to win a championship. I underestimated just how good Golden State was at that time. Guilty as charged. It's not that way. I got another year of Victor Wembanyama being a year older, a year smarter. He's only going into year 3. You got a great basketball team there in San Antonio. You got a tremendous basketball team there and still in Oklahoma City. I know that changes have to come at some point, but they're still going to be great. SGA is going to be amazing. Like, we've done this a million times over. So, and I'm not trying to protect my feelings. I'm just pointing out, I love a good story. I love the history of sports. I love the history of Cleveland sports. And he would be a great piece of that history, where it's not a footnote, obviously. He's one of the biggest pieces of Cleveland history in general, let alone sports, in Cleveland history ever in the 230 years of the city. And I love that, and it would be great if he came back. But the championships and screaming and yelling is not my first focus. It would be nice. And I'm not trying to be a downer. If he picks the Cavs, play the music, be excited. That's great. But it's not the same feeling as what it was in 2014. And I'm not going to sit there and lie and tell you guys it's different for me. If you disagree with that, there's nothing else I can tell you. I guess that's your problem, not mine, John. Everybody else, that's not my problem. But there was another analogy that John used, and this is another thing that everybody's getting wrong about this. Owen found it because he's amazing. Please hit it.
I think it's easy to get frustrated right now, but this is like when you're at a restaurant that you really, really like, and you order a steak, and the restaurant service is backed up, and you're sitting there, and you are starting to get frustrated in that moment. But this is like saying that then when the steak finally does arrive, and you know one thing, when that steak arrives, and it is always good because you've been going to this restaurant for 20 years. You're telling me that you're going to start disliking the taste of that steak that you've always loved? No, you waited for it.
No, I like the taste of the steak, but if I'm at the restaurant and I'm waiting too long, the wait staff doesn't come out and say, oh, what are you going to do about it? You're not going to eat your steak? Is that it? You're not going to eat it? You're not going to shove it down your gullet, you fat pig? What, you're not going to eat that steak? No, they don't do that. If I've waited too long, and especially I've been around for 20 years, they offer free drinks. They offer a free app. They don't come out and antagonize you and wave the flags at you and see if whether or not you're going to get up and take a swing at them. That's not how life works.
You get a fun documentary out of it.
You get a fun documentary.
Maybe you get to be in the documentary.
Maybe you do. Like, that's... we keep making these analogies, and I'm like, no, none of these analogies work. They don't work. Like Spencer. Oh, you've been waiting so long. I'm like... Spencer said to me yesterday, well, you got to wait for the sex. All of a sudden, because you had to wait for the sex, you had to, the sex isn't as good. It's like, I don't know. You got to ask. You got to ask her. Second of all, I think that if we're making analogies to sex, I think it's been a little long because we weren't doing that the day after he decided he wasn't going to the Lakers. That's my point. We're out of things to say.
You don't sound like you're out of things to say, though. You keep saying that, and yet every day I see you're getting more and more upset, and you are finding plenty of things to say.
Because I've been abundantly clear, and I've been accused of having emotions that I don't have. not you guys. It seems that everybody outside this door, outside of 6 to 10, is taking, and Jake Volnick as well. I can't speak for Jake. Jake can speak for himself. He's a big boy. He's a taxpayer. They just act like I'm going to sit here and brood if LeBron James comes back to Cleveland. I've never once said I was going to be upset or if LeBron James comes back to Cleveland because it's taking a long time. I'm annoyed that it's taking a long time. But I've never claimed that I'm ever going to have the same reaction that I had in 2014, and I won't. And it's not even to prove some silly, stupid radio point.
It's just you're getting more annoyed by the day. And you did say something earlier in this segment, and you're like, sure, if he comes in, we'll play the music. I don't even know if Ken wants to play the music anymore.
Of course I want to play the music. See, now you're just trying to egg me on.
I'm just saying, play the tape. You glossed over that. You're like, yeah, fine if we get him play the tape. But, and then you went on an angry rant again.
Well, no, I'm
it does not sound like you even want to be in business with this guy anymore.
No. That's not, no.
I'm just telling you how you sound.
I just spent 15 minutes here talking about it. That's not how it sounds.
But we all heard how you sounded.
No.
It does not sound like you really want to deal with him anymore.
Listen, if you want to push my buttons, that's a nice try, but it ain't going to work because I'm not being that way.
Cleveland heard you. Owen, how do you think he sounded? It does sound like you are getting so angry every day.
I'm not angry at him.
It's taking over your emotions.
I'm not angry at him.
Well, who are you angry at?
It's that I have to keep. I'm not actually angry at everybody. I'm frustrated that I keep having to explain my emotions, the same point of my emotions, and everybody keeps wanting to say, "Oh no, you're just mad at LeBron." I'm not mad at LeBron. I know you guys have these fights with people who are weird, and they still hold some weird grudge against LeBron, even though he's a professional basketball player, and they probably hate him for other reasons. Who knows? Politics, whatever it is. I don't know. Maybe they're just not big Cavs fans, basketball fans, whatever it is. That's not how I feel. I'm a LeBron James fan. I'm a Cavs fan. I will be happy and satisfied when he comes back. It's flat out. And I'll be happy and satisfied and celebrate when they win games with him. Why do I have to keep explaining myself about that?
Even the way you're saying it and the look on your face
I'm
seems
frustrated
like you wouldn't be.
Okay, so
and I know that Ken, you get very emotional. So I do know that when they do win games, and if he does make the decision, and boy, were there a bunch of panicky Pete's yesterday, making it seem like the Cavs have lost him. There's been this development over the weekend. He's now going to the Miami Heat, and it's over. I do know you're going to be excited, so I just don't want you to have to regret anything.
I'm not regretting anything
now
I say,
or the way that you deliver that message.
No, I'm not frustrated with him. I'm more frustrated. I'm not frustrated. I'm frustrated with everybody else saying that I'm frustrated. And it's like, hey, yeah, it's taking a long time. If I'm in a restaurant, I go, what the hell's taking so long?
Oh, and
do I get a free app? Do I get a free drink? I'm not. All right, we got to go.
Not frustrated by him. I'm frustrated with everyone else thinking that I'm frustrated by him.
Because it does prove my point. This has gone on so long. You're going to find anything you can to attack to squeeze any little thing out of the LeBron stuff. That's what it is.
I'm mad at him now for putting us in.
We just want our fun, jovial Ken back. That's all we want.
Smile. I want him to get his smile.
I haven't lost my smile. I will be happy when he comes back.
I don't want to drive a wedge in any of the more. You've lost Fanta. You've lost other people surrounding the Cavs. Who's next? Who else are you going to lose?
And I knew that this was going to come in. I knew Keith was going to send this. I knew it was going to happen.
I do know who he's going to lose.
What?
The other youth football guys, if you have to miss a few hours.
Oh, my God in heaven.
You're going to lose them.
I'm not going to get my buttons pushed. That's fine. Whatever. Yeah.
Say
whatever you guys want to say. That's okay.
I mean, you have all the practice plans drawn up, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if they won't follow him anyway. I mean, my one buddy can't even open up his sheets in 2026. He's like, I can't open up the sheets. I go, it's 2026. You have a rotary phone? You don't? Then that's on you, not me.
It's tearing the staff apart.
And just think, Ravenna's in 5 weeks?
Oh, no. They're not worried about it right now.
They're not in the league anymore.
Okay.
Nice people, but they're not in the league anymore.
See ya.
Crestwood?
I'm not telling you who, because I'm not having this guy or his drunken friend show up to the game. It's dazed and confused.
It ain't hard to find that schedule. I'm going to find it.
No, you're not.
I told you my Saturdays are cleared out.
Not if I can help it.
On.
I mean, right now, Garrettsville's going through their walkthroughs. They're ready.
Oh, of course.
They're also not in the league.
Where do you guys play?
Keith says, I'm not telling you the league Because if I tell you the league, you're going to go finding it. So it's not going to happen.
I won't find it either.
This is what I'm actually bothered by. Ken sounds like Nick 4 months ago. I'll root for the Cavs, but I don't want James Harden. No, I don't. I want the Cavs to get LeBron. I'm just annoyed at the amount of time it's taking. I'm annoyed that I'm being put into some box that I'm not in. Again, I'm being put into the same box as a guy who doesn't watch the games. And I watch the games. Well, I'm sorry. What else am I supposed to say? You said it on the air yourself. I watch the games. I'm the one watching them. Okay? Can't say that for everybody on our staff. So if we want to get frustrated and start taking pot shots, we'll take pot shots. Hell, at least trying to do the job. I'm doing the job. Okay, fine.
Well, you said James Harden. What if it was Kyrie Irving? What if it was Anthony Davis?
What do you mean?
Stay tuned. Rumors are flying.
If it just gets LeBron back? Yeah, whatever you want to do.
There could be more on the way.
Whatever you want to do. This thing's going to when LeBron comes back, it will probably last a year, and then probably a lot of people go their separate ways. Fine, do whatever you want to do. I'm okay with it. And when I say fine, do whatever you want to do, there's no ulterior motive. Okay? There's not. I'm being as honest as I possibly can be. And if some people can't handle it, and we think I know who I'm talking about over here, if you're watching on YouTube right now, if you can't handle it, that's your fault, not mine. All right? And I think a lot of people probably feel the same way. It's like, yeah, I'm getting a little bit tired of this taking a long time. But you're trying to put me in some place that I'm not. Ken Carman, Tone Master General. And Adam Silver, did he cause this to take so long? Because there's somebody else here at the Fan who says, yeah, it's his fault. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima on the Fan.
or visit PellaCleveland.com.
We have a few incidents around the area this morning. 480 eastbound is closed at State Route 91 due to an overturned semi east of Snow Road. There's also an accident on the North Marginal Road by the Marina at East 55th, blocking the flow of traffic. Meredith Kane with your Odyssey Cleveland traffic.
This is Browns head coach Todd Monken, and you're listening to the number one sports station in Cleveland, 92.3 The Fan.
Ken sounds like Nick 4 months ago. I'll root for the Cavs, but I don't want James Harden. No, I don't. I want the Cavs to get LeBron. I'm just annoyed at the amount of time it's taking.
We just want our fun, jovial Ken back. That's all we want.
Smile. I want him to get his
I haven't lost my smile. I will be happy when he comes back.
I've lost a lot of things, and one of them has been my smile. And I know it doesn't mean a whole lot to everybody else, but it means a lot to me. So I have to go back. And I have to go back and I have to find my smile because somewhere along the line, I lost it.
Audio courtesy of the days when wrestling was great. I don't know how great it was, but I was a kid back then, so, there's a nostalgia factor. That's amazing. I haven't lost my smile. I'm smiling right now. I don't know how Shawn Michaels didn't start smiling, start laughing while he was saying that, to be honest with you. I've not lost my smile. The only thing that makes me frown or get mad is that you guys keep trying to put me in a box that I first can't fit in. Second of all, I'm not in it. Like you guys, I think you guys have had these fights with the LeBron haters, and I think you're bored because it's been 24 days now, which I lost count. I thought it was 22. It's been 24 days now. Meredith counted it out today. And guys, you're just out of things to say. Everything's in a holding pattern right now. And I love the Baskin stuff. We'll get to that here in a second. But there's got to be people like, I don't understand how we can't go. No, I do understand because, again, you guys are bored, so you guys are going to find somebody to poke and prod. And Lima knows that he can go after me and usually get me to start screaming and yelling and get over the table at him and want to fight him. But I'm telling you, that's not how this is working for me. I'm annoyed that it's taking a long time. I'm annoyed that I would like to know what the Cavs are going to do with their roster so we could get moving and talk about things that have anything with substance. Like John made it yesterday where he had said, because there was a long clip that Keith put out there on social media. Again, the facials were amazing that John had. But he goes, you're in that big of a hurry to talk about quarterbacks and completion charts and training camp? Because John ain't stupid. He knows what's dumb, and that's dumb. But at least he'll be on the field doing something. Like that is who's week one starter on a team that probably ain't going to do too well this year. Week one starter still is a big deal because one guy obviously is his best years are more than likely behind him. And the other guy, he has a massive fan base who believes that he's the answer. I just want to give him a chance. So that's actually of substance. Hell, I wanted to bring up later on, I think the Guardians might be the perfect team to fight over. But it's an everyday thing, so it's hard to put us in one spot and to continue the one argument. That will come up later. And now I'm with this LeBron story, and it's just finding different ways to say the same things because none of us know anything. And it's up to one man and his decision, and the longer he hasn't made a choice, the less interested I am, and the more it seems to be open to whimsy. And that's how I feel about it. And I'm not going to feel the same way. At the outset of this, I knew I wasn't going to feel the same way as I would in 2014, and I won't. I can't. The life has changed for all of us. It's a nice thing for him to come back. I'd love for him to come back. I cannot be more clear about that. Bringing a stack of Bibles a mile high, I'll swear on all of them all day long. But damn, man, you guys are acting like Ken hates LeBron all of a sudden. No, I don't. Don't hate LeBron. Don't hate the Cavs. Love LeBron. Love the Cavs. Want him to get him back. Want to take a swing at it. Want to take a swing and see whether or not we can win a championship. And I've said the same damn thing each and every one of these days that we've been waiting on him to make his decision.
You are down to giving him an ultimatum for when you need his decision by.
No, there's no ultimatum. He's the one in charge. Adam Silver tried to give him one.
Are brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. This tweet from Ken Carman, it says, I don't have a source like Baskin, but LeBron has to make his decision by tomorrow or Friday, talking about today or tomorrow, Friday, because I'm off next week.
Yeah, it's a gag. I'm not that important. It's
Lima,
a gag.
where would you put the inconvenience meter at today?
Boy, I've had Ken's, vacations and football coaching all circled on my calendar. And I know LeBron's people who are apparently listening, according to Andy Baskin. I know that they are also cross-referencing. In fact, they actually asked for an invitation to the calendar to include everybody together so they could just see it digitally. Can all get on one page.
If you guys, I'm serious about this. This is the reason why. Outside of my own wife, I think I trust you two the most. Because there is a humility that will always be made sure that I stay with. If it were to come out that out of spite that they've actually been listening to Sports Talk Radio, no, I'm not ripping Baskin. That's not it. No. But one of the things that was said is that they're listening to local sports talk in all the cities to see how we react. If I find out that he waited until I go on vacation, you'll never get me back. You'll never get me back. I will be the most arrogant Richard you have ever seen in your entire life. Because now I'm on the same, if I know that I'm on the same status of Adam Silver, please. I'll be wearing sunglasses in here every single day. You will create a monster. You two will have to be, you think you guys have been mean to me for the last decade? You will have to be so mean-spirited and nasty, you won't even be, I can't imagine how deep you guys will have to go to bring me down to earth. Think about it. If I find out that I'm in the same status as a commissioner making millions and millions and millions of dollars, oh, God. Holy Lord. Didn't think about that now, did you, Tone?
So you don't find it interesting? You keep saying you're out of things to say. You didn't find the overnight stuff interesting about Kyrie and Anthony Davis?
Of course it's interesting.
And whether or not LeBron could be also, and Clutch could be dictating.
That's interesting. I like that. That does bring a new wrinkle. I'm thankful for that. But everything else, it's like, well, we'll find out whether or not it's true. And if he's waiting for Kyrie, and I'm going, because my first blush is, I swear to you, when I saw that yesterday, who's reporting it?
Well,
it was a Yahoo, right? Kevin O'Connor, yes. And now we're getting to something of substance here. I'm gonna get to the Baskin comments here coming up at 6:43. Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because my first blush is like, oh my God, are we gonna move heaven and earth for 41-year-old LeBron James? And that's what goes through my head for about 0.3 seconds. And I go, yeah, of course. We got swept in the Eastern Conference Finals. We are a very good team, but it's not worth not trying to do everything. You gave up. We have no picks. If you want to go ahead and make those trades for Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, away we go. Either or, more than likely. If you want to make those trades for either or, away we go. I'm down. Make it happen. But for 0.3 seconds, my first thought was, are we really going to do that? Yeah, we are going to do that for LeBron James. Because he's not the average 41-year-old player. Because I do, in so many ways, go back to Aaron Rodgers with this. Like, I get stuck in football mode with this. Like, man, we're really going to do this? Like, isn't there a law of diminishing returns here? No. He's not at the peak of his powers, but he can still be a great player. And it's not all the time, but he can still do tremendous things for us and still increase our chances to win a championship together. And if that includes Anthony Davis, give me a pen. I'll sign off on it. If that includes Kyrie Irving, as nutty as Kyrie Irving can be, give me a pen. I'll sign off on it, Tone.
Now, Anthony Davis, $120 million over the next 2 years, and also a player option in that second year for $62.7 million. Kyrie, on the other hand, has $81 over the next 2 years. That second year is a player option. I know the Mavericks have repeatedly stated they will not be trading Kyrie. And then recently, Rich Paul.
Can we get Nico Harrison back into that front office? Let's get talking here.
Well, even Rich Paul had said over the last week, and he's done like 30 podcasts, including yesterday with Bill Simmons, who was begging for him to play in Golden State.
Can we bring back Sports by Brooks and have Rich Paul bring him back? Come on, it's time.
Let's get everybody involved. But, he has said that, no, Anthony Davis is going to be in Washington, D.C. over the next – we'll see. I don't think anybody's really buying that. But it is interesting when you start to break down the fits, but also the ages. We've just kind of seen – teams that have the older players, in their 30s, that's normally not a great recipe for the finals. But then what does everybody say about the Cavs right now is they're just not flat out not good enough. They don't have guys that can take their game to another level. Kyrie has been known to take his game to another level in the playoffs, and so too is Anthony Davis when he's healthy. Anthony Davis, when he's healthy in the playoffs, has been a top 5 player in the NBA. Yeah. But it's just been so infrequent because he can't stay healthy. So what kind of a chance do the Cavs have to take
I thought about that when that got reported yesterday, and I go, well, we don't have to play him night one, but we can load manage. There's always so many things that I can do. I mean, if we can get through a season not playing a quarterback, we can do so many things in the NBA not playing Anthony Davis or working on Anthony Davis and making sure he's healthy for when it really matters. Because this is where it really works out, seriously. I know that they have to gel, so there will be times where they got to hit the gas and not hit the gas. But frankly, I think you can make the playoffs as a 7 seed or a 6. I don't want to be 7 or 8. It is a 6 seed, a 5 seed, somewhere in there, and certainly you can go to the NBA Finals. The league is so different than what it was when LeBron first came back in 2014. And so I'm open to all of it. 216-474-0092. All right, I've said a lot. I'm going to get to you guys on this. Are there people who do you understand where I'm coming off on this? Or am I lying to myself some way, somehow? And I want to hear what Baskin had to say, because it is juicy, my friends. Wait until you hear this, because it got NBA reporters going. It got all the NBA going. Baskin in the news with bombshell reports yesterday. I love it on the Fan. Northeast Fan.
on 480 East are closed, and there's no indication when they'll reopen. Hudson police are urging drivers to take alternate routes. Meredith Kane with your Odyssey Cleveland traffic.
Multitask this summer with your smart speaker. Crank up the Cleveland sports scene. And when you say play 92.3 The Fan.
$7:20, Brian Baldinger, Odyssey NFL Insider. Who is going to start week one? Who would Baldy start week one right now? Unfair question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Mary Kay Cabot, she's going to join us at 8:20 this morning. Now, those two personalities are going to be on 92.3 The Fan. A personality that we've had for 15 years, Andy Baskin. And I saw what some of the NBA fans were saying about this, so let me knock it down right now. Now, there has been many a radio man accused of telling tall tales. Baskin has never, ever been one of them. Ever been one of them. He's not a person that's going to be a flamethrower. He's not a person that's going to rock the boat. He is a very respected man. He is a journalist. I am not a journalist. Anthony has been, but he isn't right now. Part-time journalism. Journalists. Baskin is. All right? And it's not like every day he's trying to say, I got sources and all these things. He doesn't do that. And so when Baskin says what he says, guys, we got to listen. Hit it.
Here's what I was told yesterday about the whole LeBron situation.
And told by a reliable
source, somebody who I trust. Last week, LeBron's crew was probably ready to make an announcement. They were in New York, and the world had their eyes on New York because of the World Cup. They were probably comfortable making an announcement as early as last week that they were there. And then people were like telling them what to do. There's a little bit of irritated by the commissioner, pushing them to say...
The commissioner irritating LeBron James.
Because we want to get this stuff out there.
We want to get the schedule finished.
And it may not just be LeBron, but it's more about LeBron's group together. So that the irritation got to the point they were like, well, you know what? We'll decide when LeBron is going to tell everyone where he's going. So they decided to hold back on making their next decision, their next move on where they want to play or where LeBron wants to play.
Andy is the stickler of sticklers. This show's been on nearly a decade, and there have been several times where Andy has texted. He usually texts you. He very rarely texts me during a show. And he wants to correct something or something like that, which is perfectly fine, by the way. I'm telling you right now, as God is my witness, if Andy Baskin is saying it, somebody in that building, somebody very, 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 very well connected within the Cavs, somebody high up has told him that, and that's why I have to believe him. Which probably is good for a Cavs fan, or bad, whichever way you want to say it, because I could take it good and go, oh, it seemed like he had his decision made, and maybe it was going for the Cavs. Or it does give more time to kind of kick around other ideas, right? That's how I took it. Maybe you took it a little bit different.
Listen,
does he say LeBron has made his decision for the Cavs in there, or does he just say that he was going to make his decision and then Adam Silver opened up his mouth and he was like, "Well, I'm not going to do it now out of spite."
Yeah, and this totally is believable, and especially coming from Andy, who's been pretty plugged in with some higher ups. I've seen Andy Baskin sitting courtside at some of those Cavs games. So he's rubbed shoulders with some of the luminaries down there. And look, Clutch also has boots on the ground still here in Northeast Ohio. I know that firsthand. Every summer, Kenny, when there are some of those basketball workouts that remember I used to attend, they are still very plugged in here in the community. In fact, he has brought in people in the orbit of the basketball community locally. Those people have ascended within Clutch. So, all of this is 100% believable, and I do believe it to be true. Yes, and the other part of this is guys like LeBron, and people are going to roll their eyes at this given the amount of money and opportunity LeBron has been able to amass over time. But LeBron, and he's not alone, there are other superstars in that league that feel like operating in a capped situation with maximum contracts, like the amount of money that LeBron has generated for the teams he's played for, the league, the shoe companies, local commerce, the local economy. They're still, I bet you somebody could go in front of Harvard Business School, maybe Maverick Carter, and demonstrate and prove that he's actually been taken advantage of, that he has not been paid his actual value. The value that he has brought to the teams that he has been on.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And somebody even commented on my Facebook about it because I made the joke with Matthew McConaughey and stuff like, hey, I'm off next week and I start drinking at noon and no one's going to get in the way of that. And somebody said, like, this is ridiculous. I go, guys, I got to tell you, yeah, I'm annoyed that it's taken a little bit long, but I'm also incredibly impressed because he is I tried to think about it. I'm sure there's other guys in history. I think he's the last man. Woman, maybe not. Maybe somebody else can hold up the WNBA. But I think he is the last male American athlete that can hold up a league, that wields that much power. I think he's playing in the I should say the four major American sports that we discuss daily in this country in podcast content, everything like that. I think he's the last guy who is able to do it. I think other leagues will look at this and go, we can never allow this. I think the NFL has meetings and go, this is why we do what we do. We can never allow this. And by the way, he deserves it. He does, because he's made that league a lot of money. All right? See, this is what makes it tough, is I could sit here and pout and moan and go, and I have. I pouted and moaned that it's taking a long time. But I have to understand and tell the truth about this. It is very impressive. It's very impressive that you can hold up a league like this and know that, hey, you do what you do. If you want to put Victor on a billboard, you go right on ahead. But we know who stirs the drink around here, and it's still me. And I'm 41 years old, and I know you guys have been trying to pass the torch, but the guys you've been trying to pass the torch, they ain't got it like I got it, and they ain't been able to handle their fame like I've been able to handle my fame. And you guys need me more than I need you. And he's holding it down, and I got to tell you, as much as I can go, well, it's been 24 days, and I'm tired of waiting around, I got to tell you, I'm really impressed by it. Well, I'm really impressed.
I'll tell you, I'll throw all three of them in. Mav, Rich, LeBron. Look, they're all looking at what is life going to be like for all three of them for the next 20 years. All right, Rich Paul, if you listen to his podcast yesterday with Bill Simmons and Max Kellerman, I had been floating, is Rich going to be a GM of a basketball team? Is that what's next? And they talked about it, and he said it's actually being used against him. Other agencies are going after Rich's players and saying he's not even going to be doing this in a year or
if
two.
I were
He's going to be a GM.
I would think being a GM is too low.
Yeah, I mean,
I would want something higher. I'd want a stake in a team. I think that he could do something like that. Now, that might be a conflict of interest that I don't know about. Yeah. Legalese is different. But
he's got a genuine book of business. He's got the respect. And then Maverick Carter, whether it was LeBron's personal manager to running Spring Hill Entertainment and dictating things in Hollywood to LRMR, all three of these guys have become titans in what they do. And then what is the next phase of that? And how is that being impacted by LeBron's next decision? Because from what I continue to see, it's not what I've heard, but what I continue to see is I think that could be part of the holdup is this group kind of trying to figure out what's best for their clients, what's best for their partners. And, we're only talking the basketball side of things, but that basketball side of things could be over in the next year or two.
Well, there's also, he knows he's not going to play for the most amount of money. And I know I got to wrap this up here. So there is of how are you going to make this even out in the long run? What can we do without getting ourselves into trouble, allegedly Kawhi Leonard style or any of the other things? What can we do to make this even out in the long run here? That it's going to be beneficial and he gets paid what I'm worth. What might be what he's thinking about. 216-474-0092. Could I actually wonder whether or not Adam Silver has not just elongated this, but possibly made it so another team could swoop in? Because this has taken a long time. I want you to think about that and answer me in 5 minutes. Brian Boedinger, 720 on the Fan.
XT.
20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
The countdown to Browns training camp is on, and the QB competition has just begun. Get ready for Cleveland Browns football. The radio home of the Cleveland Browns. 92.3 The Fan.
See, this is interesting, maybe we need to open it up to everybody else at some point in the future. Social media reactions on X are brought to you by
Carman Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Slaw Dog asks, is there a regular working stiff Cleveland Cavs fan who's frustrated with LeBron's decision timing, or is it just sports talk radio guys' problems? Put the call out to the average Joes. I want opinions on this. If I'm out in the streets, there's been some people like, come on, when are they going to do it? When's it going to do it? And then they're starting to ask other things.
Yeah, the average Joe thing, like, I understand that. My only question is, that person that tweeted you, how do they feel about the Cavs right now in general? Because if you were so down on this team and the losing record in the playoffs and the Eastern Conference Finals, no excitement because they felt like they had no shot to really win the championship. They hated the Harden move. I mean, how do they feel about the team in general? Because what is the flip side to not getting LeBron James? I think this is why there is a genuine interest in him coming here.
Well,
because how do you feel about the team without LeBron James?
Yeah, and I told you, I think this is the only place where people could get mad at him. I like if he doesn't choose Philly, I don't think that Philly fans are going to get mad. I think they'll just move on with their lives. Even Miami, I don't think that they're going to get mad. I think they'll just move on. But here, I think that people will get mad. I feel like they'll have their emotions toyed with. But when Baskin brings up the Adam Silver thing, which took off, I mean, it just went nuts yesterday on social media and on the internet, and there was all these Yahoo reports and ESPN, I mean, all the stuff, man. It was nuts. And I go, one, you can't discredit Baskin. He rarely does this, so when he does it, you got to listen. And I know that there's a lot of fans of a lot of other teams who are like, no. The second thing is I do start to wonder. I go, well, wait a minute, hold on. If Adam Silver was saying these things and trying to hurry him along, I can understand where LeBron's like, well, you need me more than I need you. I'm not going to hurry along a damn thing. And I don't like that you're talking to me that way. Like LeBron James could always do that. Like it's different in the NBA. It's not the NFL, man. The NFL, they got their thumbs on everybody, and they keep them down. Even the legends of legends, they will push you out if they don't want you. It's not that way in the NBA. He knows they need him. They've tried to move on in the NBA to other guys. The other guys couldn't handle it. But it does make me wonder, the longer it does take, and if I'm hearing about Adam Silver over here, it's not like other teams are going to stop trying to get him. The Pat Riley wasn't just going to hold up his hands and go, well, what's done is done, and it's in his court now.
Well, I think this is where Rick Bucher, who we had on last week, was great. I think this is where he was off, and I think some people were off.
I've had to come around on this after this Adam Silver stuff. I think I know what you're going to say.
Well, they made it sound like that nobody was really, there were no LeBron sweepstakes at this age. Nobody wanted to deal with them. And now it's like, oh, Miami 100% wants him. Minnesota 100% wants him. Philly 100% wants him. The Cavs 1,000% want him. And how many other teams? Like maybe like the Denver Nuggets would have probably been in on him had he have had interest.
This is what I didn't see at the time. Because the Silver stuff changes it to me. I came around with what Bucher had said. And I go, yeah, I mean, how many teams, because of the cap and everything, how many teams are willing to change their entire roster makeup for a guy who's probably going to play for 1 year? I thought about the teams. I think the Cavs are the most willing to do that. I don't know if the other teams are willing to go over the threshold for him. But then when you bring in Adam Silver, I go, oh, yeah. When Rick Bucher goes, there's not the demand for LeBron that there ever been. Hey, I was thinking about the teams. I didn't think about the entire NBA. Rick Bucher's wrong. I'm wrong on that. It's the NBA. They need him. And he knows it, and so he's going to stretch it out. And my issue with it could end up being, all right, did you just, because you opened up your mouth, Adam, did you create something where more teams can make plays and swing his opinion? Because if Pat Riley just goes nuts out there, and he's able, and I don't know how the cap is, so I'm just shooting my mouth off here, guys. But if he's able to get Giannis, and he obviously still has Bam Adebayo, and he's able to make some other move, and all of a sudden Kyrie Irving's with the Miami Heat or Anthony Davis is with the Miami Heat, and I find out that LeBron was going to sign 2 weeks ago, who am I mad at? Am I mad at the Cavs or am I mad at Adam Silver? I think I'm upset with Adam Silver. I'm upset with the commissioner. And for a Cavs fan, that's unforgivable. It's absolutely unforgivable. I know my team's crazy enough to go out there and make these moves, and I live with it, and frankly, I love it. But with the other ones, if I find out that, and we won't know for a while, but if I find out that 2 weeks ago, yeah, he was ready to sign on the dotted line. There were people saying he was ready to make this announcement even last week. There was theories going on about the smoke in the city and how that affected it because there was going to be displays and things like that. These are real stories that people are putting out there, folks. And if I find out that Adam Silver just was like, well, now we're a little bit annoyed. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I'm going to be a little upset with Adam Silver. Because, again, I cannot stress this enough. I know that my brethren here on the fan has taken it in a different way. I can't stress it enough. I want him back. I've always wanted him back. I want him back on this team. And if it could have been a much shorter journey, I thought I might be annoyed with LeBron. I'll end up being really annoyed with Adam Silver. You elongated this, not him. You need to have the proper respect. All Cavs Conversations brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside Hard Iced Tea, who ask you to please enjoy that Surfside Hard Iced Tea responsibly.
Yeah, the commissioner part of this is very interesting. All that we've ever said about this commissioner in the NBA is that he's been too player-oriented, championing the players around every turn. And he has stepped in some things over the last few years, and people are wondering that, well, actually, the second apron thing is very anti-player. It is very anti-veterans because there's no look at free agency. There's no free agency anymore in the NBA. So, people kind of going back and forth on this. I could totally see LeBron putting this off. The question is he going to change his mind because of it? Is he really going to do that, or has he known? It's been known. Maybe the teams don't know.
He may.
Now, does James Harden know? Does Donovan Mitchell know?
Maybe they do, but this is the point. This is what I'm saying, though. If you've been disrespectful as the commissioner and you've tried to hurry this up, because LeBron could just go, hey, what is stopping me from retiring, pal? What is stopping me? You think that your 30 owners in there and possibly 32 owners going to be happy with you, that you cost them gate? I could just retire right effing now if I want to. I've been in this league for 23 years, and this sounds egotistical. It's LeBron James, and I think he's allowed to have an ego. Because I go, I've made this league a hell of a lot of money, and I put this league in some parts of the world that even guys in the other parts of the world weren't able to do it. Okay? They can't say Michael Jordan's name without mentioning mine. And you're telling me to hurry up? You go tell your owners right now that you cost them gate in the cities that I was coming to in my last year on my retirement tour because of all this. I'm trying to think of the argument that would be given back to me as I say these things, and I can't think of them.
Well, the flip side is, though, there does need to be a schedule made. You do need to satisfy your partners and your responsibilities, your fiduciary responsibilities, because obviously they want to get out and promote the schedule, promote the games. Where's LeBron going to be playing opening night? Heck, here in Cleveland, Ohio. Let's say it's Cleveland. Okay, I mean, national TV games. We don't even know where the games are going to air yet. Right now, there's been no public announcement on that. So how
You're
is this
holding up a league?
That's the trickle down of all of this.
LeBron could sit there and turn around, and Rich Paul certainly could look at all these general managers, all these team presidents and owners and go, I ain't holding it up. Adam is. Go blame him. Go blame him. Oh, you can't get your local TV deal straightened out because you don't know when I'm going to be in town? Go call Adam. Go get him on the phone. Keep him up at all hours of the night. Go get the owners calling him up and cussing him out. Go right on ahead and do it. Like, I have no reason to not believe Baskin, and I could find myself very upset because this could be one of the all-time boobery moves by a commissioner of a league. LeBron's the one holding the cards. It would be better if you took a page out of Roger Goodell's book and give a bunch of non-answers than saying what you said. Because I've always had a reason to believe Baskin. He's never lied. He's been on TV for 30 years. He's been on this station for 15. He knows what he's doing. He's never once said anything without checking 3 times, 4 times over. And in fact, he's tried to hold everybody else to the same accountability. So if Baskin is saying it, because he rarely does this type of thing, then I'm going to believe Andy Baskin. He's never let me down before. And so if I'm hearing this stuff, forget about being frustrated with LeBron and the time it's taken, and even Rich Paul going on every single podcast known to man. I got reason to be upset with Adam Silver for taking too long on this. And if this gives any more time for the jackal that is, and respectfully, the jackal that is Pat Riley to go and move the chess pieces around and make it easier for LeBron to go there instead of Cleveland, I don't know what I'm going to say about Adam Silver, but I'd probably have to dump it.
Well, if anybody's getting really, really annoyed with LeBron, like, how do you put this in comparison to some of the guys that you may not like in the NBA, like Kawhi Leonard, okay? Cap circumvention, 101, right? Got paid all this money, and people wondered at the time, what that was all about with that other company. Like, if you're mad at LeBron James, like, are you mad at Kawhi Leonard? Guys that are actually willing to, float the rules that are in existence? Like, as a LeBron in this way been accused of anything like that? Like, if LeBron wanted to, he could have shaken down any of these owners for hundreds of millions of dollars behind the scene. Has he ever been accused of that?
I don't know. Certainly if it gets messy, we'll find out here over time because, we're waiting for this to happen.
He did have that fat
I'm annoyed with the time,
once, I remember that.
When I'm hearing this, I am annoyed by the time, but when I'm hearing about Adam Silver, maybe I'm annoyed with the wrong people. 216-474-0092. We got a football team in town. They're getting ready to have training camp coming up next week. Rookies are in town. Brian Baldinger, Odyssey NFL Insider. I want to know from Brian right now. You got to make a pick. Who's your starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns week 1? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Take us with you to work on that free Odyssey app. Friends,
Sports, saying that LeBron is slow playing his decision to see if any of the teams on his list of destinations could trade for either Anthony Davis or Kyrie Irving. Want to catch highlights from The Fan from throughout the day? Get over to 923thefan.com or favorite The Fan on the Odyssey app for all of today's headline segments. Headline Sports News every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
One hour from now, Mary Kay Cabot, but another treat right now as we welcome in Brian Baldinger, Odyssey NFL insider. Browns getting ready for training camp, which officially starts next week. Rookies are showing up to town this week, and Brian Baldinger is one of the best. You've seen him all over the place. NFL Network, Compass Media Networks, does games, does analysis, former NFLer. Again, Odyssey NFL insider Brian Baldinger joining us this morning. Brian, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
I'm sorry to call you by your government name. I know we've always called you Baldy. Everybody calls you Baldy. I'm sorry about that. Baldy, good morning to you. It's wonderful to have you again. We know you're a traveler. We're glad to have you back. I'll ask you about your trips and everything coming up here in a bit, but I got to ask you right now, if it were your choice, if you're Todd Monken, if it's Brian Baldinger, the head coach of the Browns, who do you think you're starting week one right now off the top of your head at quarterback?
I really don't know. I mean, we haven't seen Deshaun play in forever, and I don't know what he looks like. I don't know how he's digesting a new offense. I don't know physically what he looks like. I really don't know. I don't know if Shedeur has improved physically from what he was a year ago, whether he's, just stronger, bigger. And I think he needed to improve athletically and physically from a year ago to be, a better version of what we saw last year. I don't really know. And I don't know that Todd Monken knows, even after the spring. So I don't know who's going to start. I mean, I wish I could give you an answer, and I'm not trying to dodge the question because everybody's asking the same thing. But honestly, I don't know because I have a feeling I know what Shedeur is, but I don't know what Deshaun is.
Is this maybe the only true open competition for quarterback in the NFL between these two?
Well, I think you could have one with Michael Penix, down in Atlanta right now. And Tua. So, I mean, I think that could be an open competition. I believe Kyler Murray will be the starter in Minnesota. But I think there's one probably in Atlanta. I don't know what Michael Penix Jr.'s, health and status is right now. But I feel like he's going to be ready to go pretty soon. So I feel like that's a legit competition.
Baldy, we've had a bunch of discussion about Todd Monken, who obviously has a lot of experience at different levels and also in the NFL, handling various situations. And yet we're wondering if he's on the clock in terms of his age, his opportunity finally breaking through. But yet, does he need to win right away, even though he's been given a roster that probably does not point in that direction? So how would that, color a quarterback conversation where you have a veteran and then you have somebody as young as Shedeur?
No, I mean, part of the reason he got the job is his ability to work with Lamar Jackson and do some really good things with Lamar. And we saw real improvement from his game. And I think then if you go back to his days at Georgia and, college, and even go back to the NFL before that, I mean, I think you've seen a real market improvement in quarterback play under his direction. And so, I mean, I think, whether either one of these quarterbacks are the answer, he at least deserves to get it to be able to coach an offense and coach a team that has a frontline starter at that position. And maybe they've got all these assets now with the trade they just made. I mean, maybe they might have to go to the well and find, a guy to compete with Joe Burrow and, and Lamar in that division right now. And other teams, Josh Allen and Patrick and, Justin and all the guys that are in the AFC right now. Maybe he needs that time, and maybe they give him that time. I don't know what Andrew Berry and the owner thinks right now about, his timeline, but I think he deserves that chance if you're going to make that hire and move on from Kevin Stefanski, who got a job immediately. Then I think he deserves a chance to be able to coach an offense with a frontline guy, and we'll find out with either one of these guys or that guy.
Brian Baldinger joining us on the show. The Browns had one of the best defenses in all the NFL last year, even with the record. They trade away Myles Garrett, but they bring in Jared Verse. How much of a drop-off do you think they have in total defense?
I just spent 2 days with Jared out at the SAC Summit in Las Vegas, and I don't know if anybody worked harder and wanted to get better. I mean, whether I was in the film room with him or on the field with him, like he's a legit player. In fact, guys like Myles Garrett and Max Crosby, Cam Jordan, guys that kind of run the SAC Summit, I mean, they all want to see him take a jump. Like, he is a big-time player right now. He's very good. He's not Myles Garrett. Nobody is. But he's a very good football player, and he's young, and I think he has to learn some finesse to his game. I think it's just he almost tries to out-physical everybody, every play, and that, guys just don't, guys wear down when you play like that. So they're working with him on a lot of different finesse and different types of moves. He was sitting in the front row, in the film session. I think they're getting a great young player, and I don't care where he plays, whether it was in Los Angeles or in Cleveland. I think you're going to get a very good player, a guy that I think, when you look at the defensive line and lining up maybe next to Mason Graham and some of the guys, I think they're going to get a good player.
Baldy, they got you front and center on the website in one of the pictures.
It's awesome.
And you look dialed in. I mean, he's dialed in. You're out in Vegas, and yet here you are sweating it out with these players.
He's been in Taiwan. I mean, it doesn't matter to him. He's all over, or Thailand. He's all over the place, man. He knows. Vegas doesn't impress him. This is good stuff, by the way.
Well, I mean, the midnight flight to Dallas to be at the offensive line masterminds the next morning, that was a little bit of a challenge now to hit that field running, put a microphone in the hand and talk to 300 offensive linemen. That was probably a bigger challenge than 107-degree heat in Las Vegas that day.
It's hair of the dog, Baldy. That's what they tell me when I go to Vegas. Yeah. Just get started early, and you're going to be good to go. Brian Baldinger, join us right now on the hotline. So we've been having a very polarizing discussion in town about Shedeur Sanders, and I've been accused of leading that discussion because it's my thought, and you let me know if you think the coaches have adjusted to this, but it's been my thought over time that coaches want their quarterbacks especially to be 24/7 football. But that is not Shedeur. Shedeur is a lot of football. He's showing the workouts, but he's also doing music. He's modeling. He's in short films. He's in reality TV. He does all of that stuff. Do you think in this day and age, coaches have just had to deal with that, or do you think they still have typecasted what they want their quarterback to be?
I think it's pretty typecast what they want him to be. They want him to be 24/7. Because honestly, it's tough enough, to play at a high level and a consistent high level in this business. We see the turnover, we've seen the number of failures at number one picks. Certainly Cleveland has seen their share of number one picks just fizzle if they ever even got started. I mean, the fizzle, you actually have to have been pretty good at one point probably. But they've seen their share of guys just not work out. Honestly, the best thing that can happen to Shedeur right now is just they completely rebuilt their offensive line, and it's the most important position in all of football. It's more important than the quarterback. And I've never seen 5 new starters on an offensive line. Like, they've got 5 new starters. I've never seen that before. I don't know how quickly they can all come together, but that's the most important thing, to be able to have an offensive line, be able to get Quinshawn and Dillon, those guys going. The quarterback is – Josh Allen isn't Josh Allen in the MVP if his offensive line isn't one of the top 3 offensive lines in all of football. And so I think that's the most important thing. But honestly, I don't know, like, the offseason is the offseason, but once the season starts, I don't think there's any time to do any of this stuff, whether it's, going into a record studio or doing some fashion show, whatever. I don't see how any quarterback in this league could possibly have time to do anything else but prepare for the next weekend's game.
Go ahead, Tone.
Well, listen, you're going to come under fire from the Shedeur fans who they love how versatile he is, how almost a triple threat, how they think in college he's been able to demonstrate that he can deal with all of those different responsibilities. And I've just been here to tell people the NFL is a different animal. Like, you're going up against the elite of the elite, and this is obviously this could be your career. You're a 5th-round pick, and if you don't make it in Cleveland, I don't know how many teams are going to be lining up. So I think 24/7 football is probably what Todd Monken would want, but I get crushed every time I say it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they don't know what this business is about. College football doesn't resemble the NFL. They're two different sports. And so with the offense he ran at Colorado, doesn't look anything like any offense in the NFL. Chip Kelly tried to run that offense in Philly. It lasted 2 years. I mean, it doesn't work. And so, but he needs look, every quarterback could benefit by the improvements I think they've made in the offense, especially at receiver. They were probably the worst receiving core in all of football last year. That didn't help Shedeur, in his debut. The offensive line was a mess, and it was old. And a lot of those guys aren't in the league anymore. But we'll see. We'll see what these improvements can do. It's a young team. It's a coach that has probably some really good ideas. And we'll see. These quarterback competitions, it always kind of amazes me when people say there's, like, even last year with Flacco and, Dillon and Shedeur, like, I never thought it was a fair competition last year. When I went out to Cleveland, I knew it wasn't fair. And so to have a quarterback competition, there's a lot of things that have to happen. One is you have to have almost equal reps with the number one offensive line, but the offensive line is completely rebuilt, like I said. And so they're trying to figure out the guy next to him and what his name is and how he plays, and they got to come together. And then you got to split time with that. You got to split time again in the scrimmages that you have with different teams, and then the games, and so how do you make it fair and equal? That's always a challenge. I'm sure Todd Monken has, patented answers for those questions that come at him. But that's always, I don't ever think that's an easy decision. I've seen quarterback competitions where one guy wins the job and 3 weeks later he's benched, and the guy that, because I saw it in New Orleans last year, where I saw Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck compete, and I thought I went to practice and watched a 200-play scrimmage, and Tyler Shuck was a much better player. But Spencer Rattler started the season the first 6 weeks, and then when Shuck went in there, the team improved, and he should have been the starter. And so I always kind of just sit back and watch these competitions and see how they decide some of these things and some of these decisions.
Brian Baldinger joining us here on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline, Odyssey NFL Insider. Carson Schlesinger, I mean, he plays a position. He does so well at it. I mean, he's a football guy's football player. What's the next step for him in year two?
I would say, at that position, he filled up the stat sheet with tackles and playing every play. I mean, he knows how to diagnose a play. Now it's just the nuances of the game. Can you get into the passing lane better and take away some of the deep crosses? Can you anticipate seeing Lamar and seeing, Aaron, in Pittsburgh, and seeing some of these guys he's going to go up against? Can you start, whether it's stealing signals, knowing the play and where it's going even better than what he already did? And then it's the other things of getting your hands in the pass lane. Can you get your hands on a couple of footballs, interceptions, forcing fumbles, like those kind of things? Like, can you really help take the ball away? Because ultimately, every great defense does that. And that's probably the next step for him right now.
Brian Baldinger joining us here on the show. Brian, you said they had the worst wide receiving core in the NFL last year. That's absolutely true. Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, which one ends up being the number one?
I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know. Are they going to play Casey, strictly in the slot? I think he could play inside and outside, but he was basically a slot receiver at Texas A&M. I like the kid personally. I met him last year before the Texas A&M Texas game, announcing that game on the radio. I like him. Does Jerry Jeudy get pushed? Can he get better? He has to. And Denzel Boston is a true X receiver. So I don't know which guy is going to get the most targets. I do think KC can do a lot of things. I think he can run. I want to see him run a lot of the slot receiver routes, the pivots, the shallow crosses, some of the things that you've got to be able to do if he is strictly an inside guy, which I feel like he's built for that. And that's okay. I saw Jackson Smith and Jigba go from that role to leading the league in receptions. And I don't want to compare him to Jackson Smith and Jigba, but, that's kind of like the multiple roles that he played, because he was sort of typecast coming out of Ohio State, and now he's the most feared guy in the NFL. So I kind of want to see how they play him in this offense right now.
Who is the number one quarterback? Because you do college football. Who's the number one quarterback you're watching in 2026 for the 2027 draft?
No, I mean, it probably starts with Arch. Just because, everybody wrote him off after, not playing great against Ohio State and not playing well against Florida. But I saw him, beat Oklahoma. I saw him beat Texas A&M. Like, I saw drastic improvement as the season went on. And then I was with the University of Texas offensive line a couple weeks ago at the Masterminds. And, like, they just think, like, the sky's the limit on what he could do. Athletically, he's as good as anybody in this business. But I want to see John Mateer this year. I want to see Sam Levitt. I mean, I'm just going through guys off the top of my head right now. Mm-hmm. But I want to see those guys take a step up, and they're in different places right now. Mateer is going to play behind a very good offensive line at Oklahoma. He's got a lot of talent there. It's a good program. I think he's got a lot of what makes a good quarterback. I mean, he's very tough. He's got good size. He got hurt last year early in the season, and I think it bothered him, the bad wrist. But I want to see him have a healthy season and take a big step up this year at Oklahoma.
How much will not playing this year hurt Brendan Sorsby?
Well, you don't get any better by not playing. So, I mean, I know he played 3 years and he was a good player and a good prospect, but not playing doesn't help anybody. And so I don't see how you improve by not playing. I think it's going to hurt him. And just, what he did was just stupid. And it's the king of stupid. So, is those type of decisions to do what he did, is that going to follow him? Now, ultimately, talent wins. And if you're a great prospect and you're a great player, you can overlook some of that stuff, but it's going to be hard for some teams to overlook it.
Brian, thank you so much for your time. You're absolutely amazing with us. We really do appreciate it every single time you're willing to jump on with us. All the best to you. And you will be coming to Cleveland, I imagine, so we will see you at camp.
Yes, I am. I will be there. I will be there on August 4th. I think I'm in Cleveland.
Outstanding. We will be there with bells on. Brian, thank you.
All right, guys. Yep, you bet.
Brian Baldinger, Odyssey NFL Insider. I wince at the answer about Shedeur, but I have to take it. We'll get into that at 8. But coming up here in about last night, John already wanted me to do it, so we'll do it. Jose Ramirez is back, thank God. And we will tell you what that means for the Guardians, and you will not believe who actually wants to play for the Browns. That's coming up at 7:44 on The Fan. Peter and Company Jewelers in Avon Lake, peterjewelers.com.
It had nothing to do with me. I mean, they moved the meeting. I didn't miss it. I was just trying to get a sweet haircut.
How it is when you win in Cleveland, man. They love you. When you lose, whew, it's the way it should be.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucks. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him. How he couldn't please his wife, so now he's divorced.
That sounds really good, but I'm not 6'5", and I don't have the athletic ability to play in the NBA.
Now, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
With a chance to take this series, the Guardians lost to the Twins 10-6. And I'm going to take a page out of your guys' book, Ken and Lima. It's just one game out of 162. The Guardians are a game back at the division in the 2 seed. And guys, Jose Ramirez is back. And you saw his spark in the order immediately. 2 hits, 2 RBI last night. And he tagged from first base going to second. I mean, this is incredible. He's a spark in the order. And even though one of his hits was a little dinky liner or dinky ground ball down the third baseline, putting the ball in play.
Having him in the lineup means more.
Yeah.
So even if he wouldn't have been able to do that, he is a baseball savant in so many ways. I think he's the Sean McVay of baseball.
The Sean McVay?
Thank you.
You're saying Jose's on HGH and peptides too?
Whoa.
What's your problem?
Reckless speculation.
What the hell's your problem? Judas Priest.
You think he got that built naturally? Sean McVay, not Jose Ramirez.
He's always been in good
I think
shape.
Jose's build has come natural.
Yes.
Yes. But he's always been in good shape,
No,
Sean McVay.
He doesn't look like what he looks like now.
Go around the room. Do you think Sean McVay's on HGH and peptides?
Uh-huh.
What are peptides?
It's a number of different
polypeptides. Or...
I gotta Google it.
Yeah.
I think he's at least on ashwagandha.
Peptides for sale. Short chains of amino acids, the building blocks of proteins that act as essential signaling molecules for the body. Just tell me what they do.
They've got these down
BCAAs.
They've got these down to a science right now.
It's FDA approved.
Literally
it says.
down to a science.
Literally.
Oh, he's on. It's the same as Ozempic.
Well, they're different strains.
You need to be on Ozempic. Ozempic gives you the jowl.
I've seen the after effects for some, not all. Either way, it was nice to have him back yesterday. I know he had you called it goof up on the infield with that grounder, but needs to play.
What are we gonna do about Matt Festa?
Ask Anthony Allen.
Oh boy! Oh, I don't know if that was a good idea. You know what? Let it ride. You want to play those cards? Play them. I'd like to hear. Are you guys on again on the weekend?
Oh, not yet. Not yet.
Okay. I'm going to make sure I remind him of that little comment. Moving on. Okay. Moving on.
So obviously the Heat, the social media put out the YouTube scheduled live video of what was supposed to be LeBron's press conference. We have no idea if that's fake or not. People are saying it's fake. The Heat are saying it's fake. People have their discrepancies, but it's so funny. There are other teams and organizations around sports that are kind of making riffs on that. The Winnipeg Jets made their own one, the hockey team, and then the PGA Tour did it. La PGA Tour, making posts on Twitter about it. Is it starting to get old for you, or do you think LeBron just kind of... Do you think this is going to make LeBron kind of egg it on even more because he loves his attention?
No. Well, every day that goes by, it hasn't gotten old yet because it's only been like 24 hours. Plus, did they actually fire the person? Because somebody said that you said it was a LinkedIn thing.
The job posting.
Was that real?
Guys, if you believe that. You can post anything on LinkedIn jobs. That's not from the Heat.
Okay. All right. There you go. Thank you. I didn't know.
All three of you run into each other on Euclid right now.
I didn't know if you were making fun of me because, I said, I didn't care. No, yesterday when you said the text.
Today, tomorrow, forever, to infinity and beyond.
I just didn't know about which part. Go ahead there, John.
Cleveland native Jake Paul has a dream. What is that dream? He'll tell you.
I think there's a lot of super mediocrity in the NFL, a lot of not good athletes, a lot of people dropping passes on a consistent basis. I have better hands than them. I'm faster than them. I'm stronger than them. I work harder than them. Really, all it's going to take is just me practicing some routes. I have a couple teams and coaches that I've already talked to that are interested in bringing me onto the team. It's really going to be quite easy.
Do you have a dream team you'd like to play for?
I mean, I'd love to go to the Cleveland Browns. Been a Browns fan my whole entire life, and I think they could use some good receivers over there. We're 17 Browns reserve the jersey now. Thank you.
So first of all, there is a number 17. That's Justin Jefferson, the linebacker. Just bring him in for one practice.
No.
I want to see him get lit up. Just
No.
bring him in for one practice.
I kind of feel like they would do something
It's
like
not
that.
Please don't. It's not Major League Baseball training camp where you bring in Garth Brooks.
Or Russell Wilson.
Or you let Will Ferrell play in 8 different spring training games at once and he flies in. It's a training camp. You only have so much time out
Didn't
there.
the Vikings bring in Brock Lesnar?
He actually tried to make the team. He quit wrestling.
Would you guys know Keanu Reeves, when he was in the replacements, he actually got a call to try out for the Ravens and he declined?
Surely that's not true.
Look it up, I swear to God.
Yeah, that's true.
They should have taken his dog.
Well, if they're giving,
he would have done it.
If he was taking his dog, if they took his dog, there'd be no one left in Owings Mills, Maryland. Oh my gosh. I love that he's such a heat getter. I love it. I really do. Boy, if the Ravens are going to call, no, we can't. The Ravens can get away with it. They got 2 Super Bowls. We can't do it. No.
Now,
we can't do it.
How would a coach feel about Jake Paul trying to balance football and also some of his branding? How would they feel about that?
What's the other branding?
Or would they want 24/7 football?
Are the Browns going to be sponsored by Prime?
Well, it's an NFL franchise. I mean, they'll take money from a lot of things, so that doesn't bother me at all. He's 29 years old. All right, he is in tremendous shape. You got to give him that. This is to get heat. I love it. I love that part.
I do think these guys work their ass off. I do believe that. Like I bet you there are guys in the NFL, veterans who have their money who are like, I don't have to work that hard.
Okay, but I think he's working hard. I do think he's in good physical shape. There are certain teams that can do this. The Browns can't do that.
Just show me a 40,
The Browns,
though.
the Jets, the Cardinals,
I feel like he'd
the
get
Dolphins,
he'd
they
get
can't
tossed
do
out
that.
of the very first game. Even if it was a preseason game, I feel like he would just
Yeah, because he'd
try to get
probably do
tossed.
something to try to get himself tossed.
Yeah.
And to make noise. And you can't. You got guys who are trying to make the team and trying to make their living by this and live a dream, and this is just a side hustle for him.
He
So
could
no,
get
you can't allow it
tossed
to happen.
before the game in the warm-ups, and then he becomes the dog pound captain. He gets to smash a guitar.
I cannot believe the Ravens. Was that under Art Modell? I mean, that was a long time ago. Was that with Steve Bisciotti as the owner? That's incredible. I never heard of that. Move on. I'm sorry.
That's it for about last night.
That's it? All right. If the Browns called, who's a well-known actor that's in good physical shape right now?
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. If the Browns called Michael B. Jordan for a tryout, would they not get ridiculed all day long every day?
Yes.
Okay.
They would.
But and I never knew that Keanu Reeves, who's now 61, that had to be under the Modell leadership, right? He's now 61 years old, one of the all-time good guy actors.
Don't forget, Michael B. Jordan won a state championship with the East Dillon Lions.
What the hell does that got to do with
just
anything?
making a joke.
Oh. Is that from a movie?
It's from. You never watched Friday Night Lights?
No, that's well documented.
Oh,
I'm not
wow.
watching that movie.
No, it's in the show.
Okay. I'm not watching that show either. It's well documented. All right.
You've never done that?
I can't believe you've never done that.
No, you're a football
You really
guy. I can't
never
believe
done
you've
that?
never watched Friday Night
Football
Lights.
guys don't usually like a lot of football movies. Sports guys don't really like a lot of sports movies. Like The Blind Side.
Well, it's a farce. The Blind Side's a farce.
I never saw
it. Not just is it a farce, but the movie's terrible. Why does every child have to be precocious? Why does Sandra Bullock always have to have a one-liner? Why is she on such a mission? And then when you know the Michael Orr story, when you throw that on top of things, it's like, this is a bunch of BS. There's other sports movies I just absolutely detest. But the ones I love are the ones I love. Rudy, Major League, Slapshot. Those are the 3. Sorry.
Boom.
I beat you to it.
The detestables.
Oh, the detestables?
Easy. You don't get to use a word like I detest and then
You ready?
not give me them.
You ready?
Go ahead.
Help me think, because I got 2 right off the top. So I got a 2.
You said
I need a
there's
3rd.
ones you detest. I want to know.
Oh, jeez. All right, I know 2. I need a 3rd. I'm drawing a blank. All right, number 2 is you know what? I'm gonna throw Friday Night Lights in there at number 3 because what the hell, right? Even though I have the right to remove that. Number 2 is The Blind Side. No, I hate The Blind Side more. Number 1 is The Blind Side. Number 2 is Remember the Titans.
You hated the speech?
No.
I think that's ridiculous to put Remember the Titans in a detestable movie.
The story behind it is fine. But again, precocious.
And you put Rudy in the non-detestable?
Because I thought it was a good movie.
All right.
Ned Beatty speaks to me.
This is worse than your LeBron thing.
I've liked Ned Beatty since Deliverance. Is it so hard? Is that so hard to figure out? It's something I like.
What was your favorite thing about him in Deliverance?
There was one scene I can think of.
One scene in particular?
Yeah. No, I don't like it when not every child is precocious. No. And so, like, the daughter in the stands knowing defense better than no. Stop it. And I love Denzel Washington, but no. I can do top 3 Denzel Washington movies if we want me to.
I don't.
Okay. Then I
like
won't.
to hear the top 3 commercials in this break.
It's a new era for quarterbacks, and I want Shedeur to have a chance. But if he struggles, this is the first thing you're going to think of. Mary Kay coming up at 8:20 as well on the Fan. Classic.
the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 923 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes on 923 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
Summer's here, and Browns training camp is just around the corner. Stay locked in with The Fan all summer long.
Chaz Gennaro said that was not true. He ChatGPT'd the Keanu Reeves Ravens thing. Now, I don't know if ChatGPT's right, because all those AI things are bad about sports.
Go ahead, John.
No, it was a rumor. I didn't see.
A rumor?
I didn't see that it was a rumor. Apparently, Keanu Reeves addressed it and said that it was absolutely ridiculous. But that was a real thing going around. I guess I just believed the wrong thing.
Did it? Because there's a lot of rumors about actors out there that aren't necessarily true.
You want to power rank them?
If we power ranked them, it would be a little bit more interesting than some of the other things we've been bringing up today.
Power rank the things you're not in charge of calling out.
Ooh.
Bet you can guess the
Ooh, burned them good. Owen took care of that business. Mary Kay Cabot, 8:20 this morning. So, I want to be fair. I want to give him a chance. Because I do think that times have changed. You asked Brian Baldinger, and I if anybody was watching on YouTube, I looked like John Fanta when I made the faces while you were asking Brian Baldinger questions on YouTube. Or while you were asking Brian Baldinger this question. You had asked him about Shedeur Sanders, and do we have the question in there as well? Okay. You had asked him what? What did you ask him?
How football coaches in 2026, if it's changed, if it's evolved at all, or did they still want their quarterbacks to be seen and not heard, 24/7 football, none of the other extracurricular?
And here's Brian Baldinger's answer.
They want them to be 24/7. It's tough enough to play at a high level. Like the off-season is the off-season, but once the season starts, I don't think there's any time to do any of this stuff, whether it's going into a record studio or doing some fashion show, whatever. I don't see how any quarterback in this league could possibly have time to do anything else but prepare for the next weekend's game.
So it's difficult because I think that the athlete is changing in 2026.
Definitely.
I think it's been changing for the last few years. And there's good examples of it. I do think that some guys are able to handle their business, and I think that we've had a couple of guys here, even in Cleveland, that can handle their business.
Well, we wondered about Baker. It depended on the year, right?
Yeah, but, I mean, it is logical to say that in 2019 he could not handle his business. And it was too much too soon. He's probably, we've argued whether or not he's matured and all that stuff. Having kids and having a family tends to mature in one, and he probably is better at handling it and probably a little bit more selective on how he handles his business now. So I say that knowing that, okay, I want to give Shedeur a chance. But I also say that knowing that if he goes out there, like say he does get the start week one, and he struggles, it's one of the first things fans are going to think of. It's one of the first things fans are going to think of. So it would be silly of me to not have that in the file. That if he's not good, it's one of the first things that people are going to bring up and throw in his face. And they're going to use that if he's not good and he's never good, why he wasn't good. Now, you could just say he wasn't good and everything else was just a smoke and mirrors thing, whatever. But I think so many people will still point to that going, do you really want to be a football player?
It is hard. I heard Jonathan in the afternoon a couple of days ago talking about this. They were responding to some of my comments. And I thought Jonathan was making a good point for Shedeur. But it kept coming back to how would you ever prove? Like, when guys either wash out of the NFL or they make it in the NFL, but they only get to this level, not that level, it is impossible to ever prove, well, it's because they didn't take football seriously enough. It's an impossible line to connect directly. It's just one of those things where the coaches will say things. Kind of off comment. They'll be like, well, maybe if he would have been in here a little more, or maybe if he would have been a little more attentive, maybe if he wouldn't have been on Twitter, during meetings or Instagram or worried about the likes and whatever. You know how coaches are. That's why I keep bringing it up, is because I know that Todd Monken has coached younger guys and younger quarterbacks, but I still think in the end, he's going to side with Brian Baldinger going, I don't need all this other stuff. I just need a guy who comes in with his notepad and works on football and thinks football and lives and breathes football 24/7.
I can't, as much as I want to dismiss it, I can't totally dismiss it because we don't get to see the inner workings in the building. You get to see certain things. I get to see certain things, but the general public does not get to see certain inner workings in the building. So what do you see? You see commercials, and you see the game. And if the guy doesn't do well in the game, then you are going to have problems dealing with that, and you're going to blame the commercials. That's the way that's going to go with everybody. So I'm in this tough spot where I'm not going to just poo-poo everybody and say, well, no, commercials are commercials. That's fine. He has a right to do business.
Of course.
But if he can't handle the actual business on the field, it is one of the main things that people concern themselves with as fans.
Yeah, and I don't know that he's the type of guy. And we haven't known him as much as the fans that interact with us that have followed him since he was 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where he was doing stuff at 7 years old that he was clearly on a trajectory to become famous and have a lot of interest, which I think also is cool. I think that's cool that he's built up a brand. That's not easy to do. Lots have tried. That he's going to have a post-football career, I do think is very cool. But the balancing of all these things at the highest level of football, there's so many guys that just can't hack it at football, and that's just the football part of it. Now, if you have all these other responsibilities and all these other interests, it is funny. We did talk about that with Myles Garrett. Does he have other interests that aren't football? And then we realized, Myles doesn't matter. He clearly gets to have his interests in other things and dominate week in and week out in football. He can handle it.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was defensive of him at the time because it's like, okay, he likes dinosaurs and history and boxing and all these other things. I don't understand. Like, you guys just want Neanderthals to play defense.
You remember, that was a pre-draft because we were talking about number one overall.
Because he can think for himself.
That was a pre-draft thing that the anonymous scouts have said, here's the thing. I don't know if he's going to have a long career. He might walk away from football 6 years
but
in.
If he burned out, and you're right, though. Sorry to cut you off. If he had burned out, it was one of the first things people would bring up. It's one of the first things. So it's not fair. It's just the truth of the matter. And I defend him until they go on the field because he will prove right or wrong whether or not that people who are for or against him, whether or not they think he's good or not. He'll prove that because he'll get the chance to play at some point. It's just the debate on whether or not he'll get the chance to play. It's not really a debate. It's just we're looking to see whether or not he's going to get a chance to play week one or somewhere else down the line in the season. Folks, we have a code. We have a Connie for a code word. And enter the code word MONSTER, MONSTER, at 923thefan.com before 9 a.m. It's your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live Glow and Fire, August 8th and 9th at Rocket Arena. Plus, you'll be qualified for the Pedal to the Metal VIP Grand Prize, upgraded tickets, early access to meet the drivers and to see the trucks up close. Plus, they're going to throw in a merch and light-up gear. It's all fantastic. MONSTER. Monster is that word. It's all brought to you by Hot Wheels Monster Trucks and Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. Kevin Stefanski caught hell for everything last year. If Todd Monken, now I know what Mary Kay said to Andy and Jeff earlier this week. I want to ask you, if Todd Monken decides that he wants to play Deshaun Watson week one, will Todd Monken deal with any of the blowback that Kevin Stefanski did?
100%.
Mary Kay, I don't believe, said yes. You believe 100% that he will?
Oh, yeah.
Will it be in the same vein as what it was with Kevin Stefanski? Because he's going to get first-team reps this time. There's no...
Yeah.
Any of the other stuff, we're running 2 fields and all that. No. He's going to get first-team reps this time. Does that have any bit of the difference? Because I could see you, if they do pick Deshaun Watson, I'll accept it. I don't like it, but I have to go by what the football says. If they decide Deshaun Watson, you know you're going to get a nasty reaction. Are you going to defend Todd Monken because of that?
Yeah, I would defend him. I obviously think it would probably make more sense for Shedeur to be the guy for all the reasons we've stated every day for however long. But we're not in the building. We're not seeing the interactions. We're not seeing the playbook and, the adaptation of the playbook and how quickly these quarterbacks that are competing for this job are grasping the offense. It's so funny. I was talking to somebody the other day who's a pretty good observer of all things football at camp, and I talked about how, we are going to chart these passes unlike anything ever before. Why? Because people pay attention. It does numbers. It's not everybody's going to be doing it. Everybody's going to be filming every single pass. Regardless of whether they are on the opposite field all the way down there, you're going to see people squinting, trying to look, and then grading every play. And it's going to be funny because nowhere in the charting of any of those numbers will it include whether that was the actual play call or that was the right identifying of what you were supposed to do at the line of scrimmage. And so we're all going to run around and go, hey, threw a touchdown on that play. And Todd Monken might be going, that was not the play. That was not the quarterback. This is not the drill for the receiver. That's not the drill for that. And so by the way we chart it, hey, that's a win for, let's just say, Shedeur Sanders. And Todd Monken might be going, we can't have him out there on the field if he's missing this far into camp.
I'm not in next week. 8:45, can I ask you guys something that could be a law for the show during training camp, even though I'm not in next week? That's why I have to ask you guys. I have to ask you. Oh, it's breathing on. You can try.
If you can make laws and then immediately leave as soon as you enact the law.
That's why I'm asking.
But are you a member of Congress?
Thank you very much. I knew you'd take it. Hey, coming up next, Mary Kay Cabot, not a member of Congress, but a member of the Cleveland media. Can Deshaun Watson stave off Shedeur Sanders for Week 1 starter? And how does Mary Kay think fans will react if he does? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, Mary Kay Cabot. Coming up at 8:21 on The Fan.
last week, but decided to hold off. Now, Kevin O'Connor of Yahoo Sports is reporting that LeBron is slow playing his decision to see if any of the teams on his list of destinations could trade for either Anthony Davis or Kyrie Irving. Want to catch highlights from The Fan from throughout the day? Get over to 923thefan.com or favorite The Fan on the Odyssey app for all of today's headline segments. Headline sports news every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
Mary Kay, Mary Kay, Mary Kay, Mary Kay, Mary Kay, Mary Kay. Let's go to the Lions Heart Right. We make it right. Call right hotline. Hell yeah! Mary Kay Cabot, Cleveland Browns beat reporter, Cleveland.com, Cleveland Plain Dealer. Mary Kay, how the hell are you?
I am ready to roll. How about you guys?
Like Stu Feiner myself, I am also ready to roll. And with this interview as well, can Deshaun Watson stave off Shedeur Sanders for Week 1 starter? Mary Kay, go.
Well, that's what he's got to do. That's what is incumbent upon him right now. He's got to make sure that he does everything that he possibly can to make sure that Shedeur doesn't come in here and steal this job away from him. And if you look at even what has happened over the past month, he's done a tremendous job of showing everyone, including the Cleveland Browns, that he means business. He came back to Cleveland during his summer break. He worked out at the Browns facility with his own people for a little bit there just to demonstrate that, hey, I'm still here and I'm not taking any time off during this break. Then he organized the passing camp down in Miami for the receivers and skill players, and Shedeur went down there and participated in that with him as well. And in my mind, he looks better than he's ever looked just from a physical standpoint. So he means business, and it's game on.
I mean, everything you just described is a guy that should have no problem winning the starting job for the Cleveland Browns, considering how poorly Deshaun Watson had played and all the injuries he's been besieged by. So what do you think the hesitation is at all? Why wouldn't this job be locked up very quickly?
Well, that's because of Shedeur Sanders and what he did about this whole thing. He came on really strong in OTAs and minicamp, and when the chips were down, he rose to the occasion and he brought it. And if he continues to do that during training camp, then he's going to continue to make this decision very, very difficult on Todd Monken. His trajectory has been very steep. He's been on this upward climb, and if he continues to do that, then they're not going to be able to make this decision as quickly as they would have wanted to.
Mary Kay Cabot joining us here on the Wise Heart Right. We make it right. Call Kyle Right hotline. What do you think I heard you a little bit with Baskin and Phelps earlier this week, so I have to repeat the question for our audience. Do you think, or it might have been Nick and Jonathan, I heard it, but either way, I heard it on the Fan. Do you believe that Todd Monken will face significant blowback from the fan base if he were to choose Deshaun Watson over Shedeur Sanders to start at quarterback?
Well, I suppose that's possible, but I also think that when I'm out and about talking to people in the community, there's less vitriol for Deshaun Watson sort of out there than there is on social media. So I think people will be willing to give him a chance to see what he can do. And I think if he does win the starting job, it will be vitally important for him to go out there and play very, very well in those first two games in Jacksonville, in Tampa, so that he can come home with some goodwill chips. That's what he's going to need. And I think it will be very interesting to see the reception that he gets at home. But I've written this and I've said this numerous times. If he wins the job, it actually behooves the Browns that 6 of their first 9 are on the road, because I think Deshaun will be facing a more hostile crowd potentially at home than on the road.
That's always healthy for everybody involved, isn't it? Go ahead.
So, Mary Kay, you're pushing back when Ken says 99% of Browns fans want Shedeur to win the starting job. You're pushing back. You're in the community. You're saying not so fast.
We
Ken
must
Carman.
be in different communities, Mary Kay, because I hear different things when I'm in the streets.
Well, we live, on different sides of town. No, I just think that I think people will be open-minded towards Deshaun if he performs well and he plays well. And that's going to be hard to determine during training camp. It isn't going to be until the games begin when people will actually be able to see if he's got anything left in the tank or what he has left in the tank. But from a physical standpoint right now, he looks really good. He looks to be, in my mind, the best shape that I've seen him in. And when you see that ball come out, even in the workouts over this summer break, when you see the agility, you see the athleticism that has always been there, but he just looks really, really sharp right now. So I think fans, I could be wrong, but I think fans will give him a chance to see if he can go out there and win some football games.
There is such a thing as confirmation bias. I've been guilty of it before. So I'm going to say it right now. Mary Kay is on the phone with us, and we were going to take – it's a full interview. We do it every Thursday. If you want Deshaun Watson to start over Shedeur Sanders, I will go to the phones at 8:44 for you. Okay? You know the number. If not, 216-474-0092. I really want to hear it because, Mary Kay, I'm telling you, the vast majority. It's actually only people on the internet I've met who want Deshaun Watson to start over Shedeur Sanders. And I don't want to be somebody who just wants to believe my own biases. I want to have an open mind as well. But I'm telling you, in the streets, and Tone, you can ask her the next question, but in the streets, man, it's all Shedeur. Nobody wants to see number 4 at all. That's all I can say. It's not really even it's just a statement. I didn't mean to ask a question there. Sorry, Mary Kay. You don't even have to answer to that.
Well, here's the thing. Here is the thing about NFL football. The fans don't get to choose the starter. The fans really don't choose the starter. It is the football team. It is the coaching staff that does that. So it doesn't really matter who the fans want to start right now. It matters who gives this football team the best chance to win. And I don't know who that is yet. I think it needs to play out in training camp because Shedeur did something that not a lot of people expected him to do, and that was to close that gap on Deshaun Watson in spring ball. So now it's got to play out. Well, and once again, you don't make your decisions based on what the fans want.
Well, Mary Kay, I'll tell you right now, I do think that this is a much different circumstance. Like, yeah, I want Shedeur Sanders to play because I don't think there's any future with Deshaun Watson. And I've been clear about that. The thing that I'm thinking of, though, is that I can't say any of the things that were said in Kevin Stefanski's situation last year. This is different. He's going to get first-team reps this time. You know, he's going to get to throw with the number ones repeatedly this time. So any of the things that we used last year, those just become big, fat excuses this year if he's not able to take the reins.
Well, like I said, it's going to be a good battle. It's going to be a really good battle, and I think that Shedeur is going to look really good in these practices. And I think there's going to be a lot of momentum for him to start the season because in practices, he throws a really, really nice football. He's extremely, extremely accurate, and he's going to make it a game. And that game in training camp is going to last, I think, for a while. I don't think this thing is going to be over in the first 3 or 4 days. And that's also not to say that I'm out and about not hearing all the Shedeur love. I just went to a camp that he hosted for a free camp that he hosted on Sunday for 500 kids. And the kids gave him the rock star treatment. I mean, he was mobbed. They were screaming for him. So I do understand the Shedeur love. But like I said, I do think that people will be open-minded if Deshaun gets an opportunity to show what he can do.
Mary Kay, I saw in ESPN, they ranked NFL teams by the under 25 talent. I believe it was Aaron Schatz. And they had the Browns in at number 4 overall, which I thought was very cool to see. And is that why people seem to have turned, started to fall in love again with Andrew Berry?
Well, it's obviously either the youngest team in the NFL or one of the youngest teams in the NFL. And most of the guys that we're going to be talking about this season are either in their first year in the NFL or their second year in the NFL. There's so much young talent on this football team, and nobody knows how long it's going to take for it to all come together. But can you imagine Carson Schlesinger in his second year? I think Mason Graham's going to take another leap. You've got Quinshawn, Harold Fannin, The list goes on. And I know everybody's excited about Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston. They had great springs. So there's a lot to like about this young football team. It's just a matter of how does it all come together and how quickly.
I am so curious, Mary Kay, what this defense is going to look like. They're getting a fantastic player, according to everybody. We just had Brian Baldinger on, who was at a camp last week with Jared Verse and talked about just what a beast he expects him to be. But as I feel like everybody needs to say every time, he's not Myles Garrett. So how good do you think this defense is going to be? They lose Jim Schwartz, and at some point they may lose Denzel Ward. Who knows? But they are sitting here with some still really talented players.
Well, what they have to do is spread the wealth. They have to spread out the pass rush responsibilities. Other guys have to step up. You can get the same amount of sacks potentially that you had last year. You're just going to have to get them from other sources. You might have to blitz. You might have to try different things that you didn't do before. You might have Mason Graham raising that hand and getting some of the sacks that maybe he didn't get last year. You're going to have Alex Wright coming off the edge and maybe challenging for close to 10 sacks for the first time in his career. He's had 5.5 as his high. So these guys have a lot to prove. I think they have a chip on their shoulder. I think when Denzel Ward said, if you're not with us, you're against us, I think these guys are out to show that they were not just the Myles Garrett defense, and I think you're going to see some really good performances.
All right, Mary Kay. So right now, when we take a look a week before everything kind of kicks off and we start to think about what this will look like with this quarterback competition, do you know, Mary Kay, are you going to have to be in charge of charting every single throw? Because we were just discussing how the stuff that probably really matters to the coach is what's happening behind the scenes, and I don't think they're going to let you chart that.
No, and behind the scenes is part of it, but it's also exactly what's happening on the field. So it's going to be everything. I think, actually, it will come down to things like just interactions with teammates. Even some of the media stuff might be factored in, although I asked Todd about that, and he said no. But I still think the way that you conduct yourself as a starting quarterback in the NFL in every aspect is going to be part of the equation. But certainly what happens on the football field will be very, very vitally important. And as you guys mentioned, we are going to see something from Shedeur Sanders this summer that we didn't see last year, and that was him working with the first team and getting to throw to Jerry Jeudy and Isaiah Bond and Casey and Denzel and Harold. So it's going to be a lot different than what we saw last year.
Mary Kay Cabot joining us here on the Wise Heart Right. We make it right. Call Kyle Wright hotline. Who is the most important assistant coach on this football team? Does it end up being George Warhop, or does it end up being Mike Rootin' Tootin' Fresh and Fruitenberg?
I'm going to go with the latter. I think because what they need to do is maintain a top 10 defense if they want to win games this year, because the offense is going to be all brand new, coming together and figuring it out. So you need that defense to carry over from last year as much as possible, and it's on Mike Rutenberg to make sure that that can happen. Now, they've got all the same coaches. They've got most of the same personnel except for Myles Garrett. So it's a tall order without Myles Garrett, but I think Mike Rutenberg is on that seat.
Are you going to be paying attention to Myles Garrett this year, Mary Kay? Are you over it now that he's gone?
No, I'm going to be paying attention. I'm very curious to see how that's all going to work out when you have other preeminent pass rushers on that defense with him, like Byron Young and Aaron Donald. So I am very curious to see how that's going to go, because Myles is the alpha dog. Now you've got two alphas over there and another excellent pass rusher in his own right in Byron Young. So, yes, I am going to be very curious to see how that goes.
Mary Kay, if Lima is done, I thank you very much for your time. Lima, are you finished?
Yeah, Mary Kay, are we getting LeBron? Is it going to happen?
I wish I knew the answer to that, and I hope it happens.
Will you react the same way you did in 2014 if we do get LeBron?
Probably, yes, I will.
Okay. I have been up all night getting harassed because I said that I will not respond the same way in 2014. I said circumstances have changed. But Mary Kay, we thank you so much for the time. All the very best to you and yours. And, of course, well, I won't talk to you next week, but Tone will. It's going to be a good time.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Mary Kay, thank you. She was on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, Call Kyle Right Highline. I mean what I say. Like, I'll be at camp next week, but I'm going to avoid Mary Kay. I'm not going to make a liar of myself, Owen. It ain't going to happen. Coming up, what? You had something on your mind? Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you were looking at me like you had something to pounce on. Coming up at 9 o'clock, I'm willing to go old to make me feel young again when it comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers. However, in 5 minutes, fine. Is there anybody who really wants to start, as of right now, is there anybody who really wants to start Deshaun Watson over Shedeur Sanders? Because you notice what she said. I hope you heard exactly what she said in that answer. And I want to humbly ask Lima and Owen if we can put in a new rule on this show, even though I won't be here next week. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on The Fan.
he can do. And I think if he does win the starting job, it will be vitally important for him to go out there and play very, very well in those first 2 games in Jacksonville, in Tampa, so that he can come home with some goodwill chips. It will be very interesting to see the reception that he gets at home. If he wins the job, it actually behooves the Browns that 6 of their first 9 are on the road, because I think Deshaun will be facing a more hostile crowd potentially at home than on the road.
See, this is what I disagree with. They're not saying much because they're trying not to think of them. Maybe there's a difference between the East and West Side, but anytime he gets brought up, like, there's groans. And then when Mary Kay says it, I'm not trying to rip on Mary Kay here, but when Mary Kay says, well, he faces, it's a good thing that 6 of the first 9 are on the road because he faces more jeers at home than on the road. Well, doesn't that prove the point about Deshaun Watson? Maybe it isn't 98% of Browns fans who want Shedeur Sanders to start over Deshaun Watson. I told you I heard from the vocal minority yesterday and 2 days ago about Kenny. They were writing anybody but Shedeur in the emails, which is, I know, like one of those things that are being used. You were accused of being anybody but Shedeur, even though you want Shedeur to start the season. Yeah. Whether it be just to prove everybody that you're right or whatever, you still want to see Shedeur start the season. It just seems to be, to me, if I'm out there on the roads and whatever, or traffic, stores, whatever it might be, 9 out of 10 Browns fans want Shedeur Sanders to start, and that 10th Brown fan is already looking forward to 2027.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it partially because, obviously, all the baggage and everything with Deshaun, and then the baggage of him playing here, which has been terrible. People have seen a bad quarterback for how many years and then suffer those injuries. But is it also because the owner had come out and said or had admitted, yeah, it was a mistake. It was a bad idea. It's a bad trade. And so everybody immediately at that point went to, he'll never play another down of football here, which was where I was at. But then what's interesting is last time we talked to Andrew Berry said, yeah, he could still be in our future. Now, I chalk that up to GM just saying something.
Andrew Berry said a lot of things. Andrew Berry also said Cleveland to Canton about Myles Garrett.
Sure.
With a stop in L.A., apparently.
So I didn't put much stock in it. Doesn't certainly sound like you put much stock into it.
No.
But is that also part of the reason? Because, I'm out and talk to people. There are people that don't want Shedeur Sanders to play either. But the thing is, they also don't want Deshaun Watson.
I guess they would be more apt to come up to you and say they don't want Shedeur Sanders to start than to me, right? Well, even though I've never once said he was the savior, as I was accused of at the John Fanta Sports Broadcasting Boot Camp before Fanta stabbed me in the back yesterday. I never once said that I thought Shedeur Sanders was the savior. I said I want him to have a chance. That's what I wanted. Can I ask you guys another thing before I take these calls? Can I ask just one? I think you guys will actually be amenable to this. The Brian Baldinger kind of mentioned like the charting and things, and we kind of laughed. Can we make it a show rule that when training camp opens up for all of training camp, if anybody calls up and they mention completion percentages and completions and incompletions and touchdowns and interceptions during practices, during training camp practices, can we just give them the boot and move on? Because you know better and I know better and Owen knows better and the American people should know better. I mean, you said it yourself. It's like that. It doesn't matter. It's low-hanging fruit. It's really, it's not even fruit. Like there's nothing there to it. Why do we even waste our time and the listeners' time if someone calls in and they want to make an argument for Deshaun or Shedeur and they're talking about, well, yesterday he was 7-9 in practice. Like that doesn't matter.
With 4
and
touchdowns.
You know damn well it doesn't matter.
I always love that we're citing touchdowns on drives that begin at the inside the 20.
And I think we need to stand for something here. And so I'd like to
how
humbly.
Insane that is. People think about how insane. Well, Shedeur had 3 touchdowns today. Oh, you mean in shorts when they started at the 15-yard line?
Against defenses that are your teammates and aren't allowed to hit.
And they aren't allowed to hit you.
So I would like to humbly ask you
Those
both.
are the best.
I love the jokes that are being made. I'd like to ask you both if we can make that a rule for the show.
So as much as I do agree with you and would love that, I don't know how much of a show we'd have.
Why?
Because
there's been plenty of people calling in not mentioning. Now there have been a few.
No, I think it's all going to be about that this year.
Come on.
I think
then I have no faith in football fandom for our future, at least for the near future.
I think it is quite literally all that people are going to be citing. Because what else do they have? Are they going to talk about Deshaun Watson's second half against Baltimore, 3 years ago?
That has more substance than that. It has more substance than completion percentages during training camp practices. You know that.
Look, and I want to be clear. If it is so obvious, if Shedeur is just dazzling and, it gets a little harder, it's like algebra. Every step of the way, everything's going to build on itself. And then we get reports from the joint practice against Buffalo if it's not decided by then, and it's like, oh, boy, Shedeur put on a show. And then here are the numbers to also back it up. Then, you're not going to ignore that. You got to use it as a supplement.
Are you talking about joint? You just said joint practice, right?
I'm
not talking about preseason games. Preseason games, completion percentages and things like you're trying to. That can help make a point, but this stuff. The charting of the passes, it's asinine. And I just feel we should hold each other to a higher standard than that. I feel that we should be better for the listener.
Do you think that this show are we 8 years in running, 9 years in running?
Somewhere in that, neighborhood.
This current show?
Yeah.
It's over 10.
What?
No, this is year 10, maybe.
We started before they won the championship.
We're not very good with anniversaries.
But we weren't permanent at that time.
No, you were.
We were in our probationary period.
You were. I'd already been shipped off to the night show by then.
Well, the reason I say I want to ask you, have we cultivated a listener base that is at that level of football that you want them to be at, where they would never even think to call in and go, hello, Deshaun Watson had 3 touchdowns yesterday in those drills.
But this is a fairly new phenomenon. The charting of the passes in camp practice. And it's just so stupid.
I feel like I remember Dan Lobby doing this with Brian Hoyer and Baker Mayfield.
I have to call
it just didn't have a graphic
it's just unsmart.
At that time. Like, I'm pretty sure he even took a picture of his notepad at one point. And that was how many years ago was that?
I'm not trying to stall because we do have some Deshaun people here, so I'm going to get to you guys here eventually, I promise.
12 years ago.
Yeah.
Baker was 9 years ago.
I just think now it's went from a cottage industry to it's the only thing that the bosses are asking these reporters to do because people are clicking on it.
Well, yeah, and that's part of the problem.
But that's not analysis.
It doesn't make it. It's not analysis. And you know damn well it ain't making anybody smarter. You know damn well it bogs down the conversation.
We got to ask Daryl. What's Daryl?
I got to have something of substance here for everybody.
What's Daryl going to be doing? Because he's also going to be videotaping a lot of this as well.
Well,
what do you want Daryl to do? Because I guarantee you Keith's going to tell Daryl to chart every throw and record every throw.
No, he's not. I've never seen Daryl have to post so-and-so was 7 of 10 in practice, unless I just didn't see it and I don't remember.
We need
I don't
Keith.
believe that.
If Keith's on his way or whatever, next
He
segment,
should be
I need to hear from Keith.
Yeah.
I want to know what the directives are.
Don't bring him in because he's just going to start ripping me about LeBron and all that stuff. Because him and everybody else have their head up their ass.
I want to know what the directives are going to be for our Browns beat reporter and anybody else who's out there in a given day, whether or not they will be held to that standard. Because you know how it is.
It's not a standard, though.
If some are doing it here, then you got to do it. If they're doing that in other markets, in Atlanta, are they going to be charting it with Kevin Stefanski's quarterback competition?
God, I hope not. Please don't. Please don't.
What do our fans want? What do our listeners want? Do we ever ask what they want?
You know what? All right, fine. Let me go to the phones here real quick. All right.
We're the voice of the fan.
You know what? Stay there because I'm going to go way over. So these people stay. Now I got 2 things to ask. Do you actually want Deshaun to start the season? And should we allow completion percentage callers in during training camp? Is that what you want to ask him? Fine, I'll ask him right off the rip when we come back. Also, you also have to ask yourself, are you willing to say the earth is flat to win a championship? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on the fan. K&K Heating and Cooling, KNKHeatingandCooling.com. Locally owned and operated. There is no
on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
July could make or break the Guardians season. Talk about the Guardians anytime you want. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
We are getting a lot of commentary about the completions and incompletions. Major sports media figures are weighing in on my phone right now.
Yeah, any program directors weighing in?
I want to thank them for listening to our station, by the way.
Everybody listens. We know that.
Or market managers.
So let me, okay, hold on. Did you just call me fake?
No, I said you're making fake arguments up in your head.
Why is that a fake argument? What's a fake argument?
No, not the Brown stuff. We'll get to that later. What am I going to have Daryl doing at camp? I want him taking video of overthrows, underthrows. Yeah, I want to see all that.
Okay, that's not.
But
that's not a problem.
What about charting the numbers? Obviously, those graphics tend to make the rounds on social media. They get amplified.
Yeah, you know what's ridiculous about that?
Kleinman takes off with them.
Lance Reisland, I'm trying to remember which show he said it on with our station over the last couple of weeks. He specifically said, it might even been your guys' show, about how, obviously, as you mentioned earlier, we don't know what the plays are. Like, the progressions and stuff like that are things that coaches are looking for. I know you guys have said that, but Lance has said it. And we don't know the plays. So it's ridiculous. You can't tackle these guys. So if a guy breaks a tackle and goes 70 yards, are we counting that 70 yards as a touchdown for the quarterback?
That's the
problem. We do. Yes.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
Pretty stupid.
That's the issue that I have. Now, I've seen some people get very defensive in my phones, in my personal phone. I'm not going to mention any names. But, and I said...
We know everybody listens, Ken. You already said that.
Yeah, I know. But
everybody.
Yeah, it's true. It feels good. But my issue with it is like, okay, are we... So we put asterisk next to it and say tip balls, or we don't? What do we do?
Well, the thing is,
they have things that bounce off of shoulder pads.
Yeah,
and
they have referees at some of these practices, but some that don't. I've got this. I mean, Ken, we could get you out there. We got a whistle sent to you.
Hey!
And a Minerva hat.
Hey!
So we could get Coach Ken out there.
All right!
And just and there's a couple more things in my office. Somebody opened the package and just set it on my desk yesterday.
That's good.
So.
That's
Who
good.
did the unboxing?
So,
John Gruden doesn't just let somebody else in the mailroom do the unboxing.
I was told from a very good football coach. Well, I'll tell you who he is. Zach Slate's down with the Minerva Lions. I know he sent me a box. So guess what, Tone? You're going to have to film me. I'm going to have to do the fake John Gruden, the rip-off John Gruden coming up. I was told that if I didn't have a Fox 40 whistle, I wasn't a real coach. I'm like, I get mine from Target. I get them in a gross, basically, because my sons hide them from me. So I got now this whistle, unpaid testimonial, and Minerva football. Lions are back, baby. Lions are back.
Boom.
I'm putting it on.
Boom.
Well, I got to
adjust it. A little tight there.
Yeah. My dome's too big. Okay. Now I feel like I just won a NASCAR race. All right. Go ahead. What were we talking about?
Do you think the fans are going to be pro-charting or anti-charting? Because I think, Kenny, you got the text that, yeah, NFL coaches do chart it also. They do have their associates.
Yeah, they might chart it a little
assistants.
differently than other people on the internet are charting it right now. But
that's my point that I've been trying to make.
I think that's pretty obvious.
I love a guy.
I do think that, I'm sure coaches do chart it, as you said, in different ways. We know the progressions. We know the play calls, all that. That's what they're charting more than anything, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think fans are going to be watching. I don't think they're going to be sitting up there with their note cards and saying, hey, this guy's 8 of 14 in practice. But we can all see and have the eye test in practice. Mm-hmm. The underthrows, the overthrows, stuff that Zach comes on and talks all the time about. Mm-hmm. People don't see those things. I think those are pretty important, too.
That's
if you've got a wide open receiver and you're missing him by 5 yards, that's pretty important. I don't care what the progression is there.
Okay, so good. So are you saying – so, yeah, you make the rules, right? It's not my our names are on it, but it's not my air. It's yours. Should we should we give people the big boot if they're like, well, he was 7 of 8 yesterday in practice?
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous.
Okay.
I think Owen can kick him right to the curb. I think go down and listen to something else, I guess.
But Lima, I can't believe I'm telling you to put the safety on. But Lima might want to use them as...
I said a supplement.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to tell you. We're going to get a lot of calls starting next week. And you call in. I'm just going to give you a fair warning. It's very difficult to step into the Dragon's Den with Tone, and he's gonna do it. I'm telling you, he's going to let you have it. And it's very, very difficult. Just letting you know. He can be very demeaning. He can be very, very nasty.
Well, before I get out of here, I don't want to take up your whole segment. But before I get out of here, are you as excited about this as you were in 2014? That nobody's making that argument either. Maybe you should make that argument about the quarterback competition that year. I don't even remember what it was.
Well, there's a brand manager who's
Brian Hoyer and Johnny Manziel.
You can do the same thing if you want.
Yeah. Nobody's making the argument that you're as excited as 2014 for LeBron.
No, everybody is.
You're literally the only one on the station that's making that argument.
Everybody's saying I should be, and that's my issue.
The audio that we played on the afternoon show and the audio that everybody else is using is you and 2 other hosts saying that you're not as excited as you would have been 3 weeks ago if you would have announced.
I'm not. I can't.
Okay, but you keep pointing back to 2014. That's not an argument. Nobody's debating that. That's not even debatable. I don't think anybody
but
is.
I'm pointing out I can't be. So I'm telling the truth now, and I'm telling the truth about comparing it to 2014. I'm telling the truth. I don't understand why people are going, oh, no, you're going to do handsprings, Ken. No, I will be happy and satisfied that he's coming back. But I'm not going, the thing came off. I'm not going
We're gonna have to get a new hat.
Be running around screaming and yelling like I did in 2014. No.
But nobody's saying that you would in 2014.
John literally said that I was going to be playing the music and screaming and yelling and hooting and hollering, and I'm going, no, it's under a different set of circumstances now.
Yeah, but you've been making this argument for more than just John. You've been making this argument for 3 days.
And then it's not just John who's wrong. It's you who's wrong. It's Nick who's wrong. I don't know how Jonathan's out on it.
You will say the exact same thing if he announces today that you would have said 3 weeks ago.
What was that?
That you're excited. They're a title contender. Everything like that. I'm not saying you're going to be as excited as 2014.
All those things are fair, but I'm more excited that he's finishing the story.
That has taken the delay. You're just impatient. Nobody's taking any excitement out of this for you.
How are they not taking the excitement out of it?
LeBron has not done anything to take excitement out of whoever gets him.
I said, wait a minute.
It's just impatience. You just want a decision.
I think everybody wants a decision. Do you not? 3 weeks.
We all do.
24 days is a lot to ask. I don't think anybody, I have not said once, and I never will, that, to hell with them, it's been too long. That's impatient. I've not said that one time, not once. I've said it's taking an inordinate amount of time. That's what I've said.
It's also the way you said it, though.
Oh, for the love of God.
It is. You did seem...
My own wife doesn't give me these problems.
You did seem like you...
Well, you're never home. You're so busy.
Well,
I am. Busy man.
He is so busy. He can't let the LeBron decision
the game of football
get in the way.
consumes my life. I still find time to watch the Cavs.
Still find ways for those hour naps in the back sometimes.
How long? Those are 15, 18 minutes tops.
This coming from Rob Burgundy's Bets. He says, just started the show for this morning. You're right. It does sound like Ken doesn't want LeBron back. I hear what you're saying.
That's acid.
But you're right about the tone.
No, that guy can.
It is the tone.
Well, I will say, yeah,
dumb.
that
That's
and
the
if we could
thing
put,
ever.
maybe we could put Ken and a couple other people I won't mention by name on the air together, and we could have a celebration show, and we'll see just what the energy level.
Okay, whoever said that to you is one of the great idiots of all time. I've never said that. That's never been true. I've never posted. Never thought that. No, I would be happy that he comes back. You're not going to paint me into some weird corner like you did with the other guy over there, where you had to go ahead and get him Raptor stuff for the postseason. That's not going to happen. I said I'm happy that he would come back. I'm happy that the story would be told here. I can't say they're the main title contender. It certainly would improve our odds. That's all I said. I understand you guys are trying to get me all red-faced and mad so you could put something substantive up there on the internet, but I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen. I'm a happy person right now. I have my Fox 40 whistle, and I also have my Minerva Lions hat. Boom.
Yeah, to say the recruiting is going on with LeBron and AD, Kyrie, and Minerva football.
And that's great. And that's great.
Are they open enrollment?
I'm glad to have it. If Kyrie Irving
How old's your son?
If Kyrie Irving came up to you today and said, I'll come to the Cleveland Cavaliers and I'll facilitate the trade for it, but you have to say the earth is flat, would you do that?
Well, I'll say whatever they want me to say.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I'll say the earth is flat to get him back and have to go have a chance at a championship. That's fine by me.
My ideologies are flexible.
But you know what? I'm not going to say it with zest in my voice. I'll be very calm as I say it. How you like that? What? Say something. Mike's on. Mike's in front of you.
Can't wait to get the reaction. That'll do some damage on the internet.
It'll do some, what? See, now I don't know how to. I will tell you this: if he does announce Cleveland, I don't know how to react on the air if we're on the air. Because I'm not.
I just think you just sit there and let everybody else talk. Evidently,
I can't do this. I will say I'm very excited, and then I know I'm going to get ripped later on because I wasn't excited enough. So you've put me in a position I'd rather not be in, unfortunately. Is that it?
Kendo just sit there and blow his whistle.
It's a nice whistle. It's supposed to work in all conditions. That's what it says right here on the box. You jealous? Should be.
It's a nice looking whistle.
It's a nice ass whistle, boy. I didn't realize how nice this thing is.
Fox?
It's a Fox 40.
Oh, one of the best on the
Cadillac of whistles right here, boy. This is some good stuff.
I've been blowing a Fox.
Got a warranty on there?
For
I don't know.
Years.
No,
I mean those whistles led to an all-time horseshoe beatdown, so they must work.
Thank you very much for your time.
What's your coaching record at Ohio Stadium?
Their scoreboard wasn't even on.
I can tell you mine if you want.
The scoreboard wasn't
not
on.
what I was told. I was told that people were keeping track of the score.
The scoreboard wasn't working. I don't know what you're talking about.
There was a trophy and everything.
There was a trophy, and they gave it to the team that deserved it the most, and it was Avon Lake that day.
Which team were you coaching?
I was coaching Streetsboro. I was not the head coach, though. Not that
so now you're throwing a head coach under the bus.
Well, a little bit. Yeah, why not? What the hell? He ain't listening anyway, right? But, it was a scrimmage, and fun was had by all. And,
they don't give trophies out for scrimmages.
Well, yeah, but you know what? If we would have taken it seriously, then maybe the place would have turned into a punch palace, but we didn't care about that. We were all there to have fun, and then the place turned into a punch palace the next year with other people.
That they would have won that battle.
No.
One won the punch battle.
I would have. I wouldn't have fought him. But
I'd rather see the punch battle.
In the next 30 seconds,
that Morning Star fella, that guy over there, I'm going after him.
Ken, they got him lined up.
Yeah, I know. They want to get in about Deshaun.
Take these calls.
All right, fine. The hell with it. Yeah, let's do it. Nick and a care. Nick, hello. You're first up on the fan.
Hello.
Nick,
Hello.
You're there.
Thank you. Good morning, boys.
Morning to you.
Yeah. So only in Cleveland are we so conditioned to losing that we want to play the quarterback that is worse. Guys, there's literally no way, if he's healthy, which all reports says he is, there's no way that Deshaun Watson is not the best quarterback on the roster. I understand our choices aren't great.
See,
I get that,
that's the thing. See, let me use your words against you.
I don't know. What's the thing? No, the thing is, let's put the best players on the field.
You
win as many games
you said
as
neither were good.
And Ken, I don't care if it's one more win. I don't care if we win 5 games instead of 4 games. If I get 3.5 less hours of my fall where I feel like drinking bleach, fine.
That's a little strong.
I want to win football games. Sundays are brutal. Thank God for Saturdays and the Buckeyes, because I would drink the bleach at the end of Sunday.
What did you think, though, when the Browns traded Myles Garrett for a first-round pick in Jared Verse, who's also a first-round pick?
That they had zero confidence in Shedeur Sanders, and that's why they needed to get another first-round pick.
Okay, so did that also show a lot of confidence in Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson's on the roster regardless. You can't get rid of him. You're paying him $40 million.
But if they were going to start him and say this, because I told you, you've listened, I said the day they hired Todd Monken, I got a text that says he wants to work with Deshaun Watson. So did that show that they have a lot of faith in Deshaun Watson? See, this is where I'm getting at here. Is that, well, I can make your one Sunday, if it's one win better, I can make one Sunday where you ain't looking at the Clorox. Or if we want to play the long game here, you know why they made that choice. You know they want to go to 2027 and have a better chance at 2027. So I'm going to want to go after the guy who I think actually might have any sort of a chance, even if it's like 5%, of a future with the Cleveland Browns, because the other guy doesn't. We're done with that after this year. But the one guy, maybe he sucks, maybe he's good, I don't know. But we've let a lot of other guys who have taken the game far less seriously than Shedeur Sanders have their crack at being a starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns.
The last thing I'll say is not only the fans, but I guess the Browns also would be the only organization in football that would sit the guy on the bench that's making 40 times more that's clearly better. It's insane. It's insane.
Since when does money get brought in? Since when does money get brought into the deal? Just because he makes more money doesn't mean he's worth it.
It's called professional sports.
Just because
he makes
wait a minute.
The $41 million quarterback.
You've never heard of bad contract. You've never heard of bad contracts.
$1.5 million quarterback who sucks plays.
Yeah, it sounds like
guys.
So I'm going to double down, and that's called a sunk cost, Nick. That's bad business.
You're going to win football games. Todd Monken wants to win football games. He works for an owner.
We're going to win football.
Wait a minute. Enough football games.
We're going to win football games. You just said we're going to have a bad season. So are we winning football games or are we not winning a lot of football games?
I want to play the players, as should you want to play the players that are going to win us more football games. Enough of we have to lose because we have to get a better draft pick from the Rams.
Already
and
admitted.
This and that and the other thing. Why can't we just try and have this feeling of wanting to win football
You've
games?
already admitted that they're not going to be good this year, Nick. See, that's the issue.
I don't think I did admit that.
Yes, you did. I asked you why they made the trade.
I said we don't have good choices at quarterback. I said that clearly Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback in the quarterback room. That doesn't say a lot, but it is what it is.
I didn't say I was going to rip
to losing.
Yeah.
That we're going to put Shedeur Sanders in. As opposed to the quarterback that is better.
But you use the money as a reason. And I don't know if he's actually better. It's been 6 years since he's been good. That's a long time. What do you mean? Come on is not an argument, Nick. You know that's not an argument.
You really believe that Shedeur Sanders can perform to the level of Deshaun Watson, even if Deshaun Watson never returns to what he was. I'm not a Deshaun Watson supporter. I'm a supporter of putting the best players on the field.
It just sounds like you think Shedeur is like the worst ever.
Yeah, that's okay. Because I saw one guy.
Bad.
Okay, but you've also said that you don't think Deshaun Watson's good. See, if we're doing what guys did in the past, then I'll go get Joe Montana. He was an MVP before, but he did that in the '80s. So I can bring in Joe Montana because he's performed better in his past than Shedeur Sanders ever has. See, that's if we're going to go to one extreme, we'll go to another extreme. What?
So tell me this.
What?
Do you want the best players on the field every week?
Of course.
Okay. Well, then there's your answer.
Yeah, there's a difference between...
It doesn't matter than the history, the contract, the past. None of it matters.
But, Nick, have I ever said...
Whoever is playing at the highest level deserves to play.
I want to ask you one question.
I'm just telling you that I'm going to be shocked.
I want to ask you one question. I want to ask you one question, then I'll let you go, okay? Sure. It's a yes or no. Yeah. It's a yes or no. Have I ever said that even if Deshaun Watson is better than Shedeur Sanders, I still want to play Shedeur Sanders?
Probably not. I don't listen to you every day, every minute, so probably not.
Bingo! Thank you, Nick. I appreciate your time. 216-474-0092. I'm willing to accept the truth. I've never said I wasn't willing to accept the truth. See, that's the difference between me and the cult you guys say I lead. Ken Carman, Tone Master General on the Fan.
podcast be the same.
Follow and listen to Heed the Call NFL podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Sign up to be a part of the fan club. Download the free Odyssey app and follow 92.3 The Fan to get all of the best audio and best stories sent straight to your inbox. 92.3thefan.com.
It was a fun call. It was a great call. Because it's not, people are having two different arguments here. If Deshaun Watson, I'll go ahead and give Todd Monken his just due as a head football coach. I'm not going to sit here and destroy Todd Monken unless Deshaun Watson goes out there and sucks up the room completely and Shedeur Sanders ends up doing a lot better in a quick amount of time. That's not what I'm going to do. Because I've never once said, yes, I want Shedeur to play and I want Shedeur to start. Wanting and accepting the truth are two different things. I can want somebody to go, man, what a great kid. What a great job he's done this camp. I really want to play him at safety. And then we got a guy who maybe is just a better football player. And I got to go, so-and-so's playing safety. And I got to put this other guy somewhere else. Problem is, only one quarterback plays. So there's not two safeties here. We're not arguing that. We're arguing one quarterback, and only one can play it at a time. And I am more than willing to accept Deshaun Watson as the starting quarterback of the Browns. The amount of money he makes, I don't give a damn in hell. He can be playing for free for all I care.
In the last year of the contract, I don't think that is nearly as relevant as it would have been like even 2 years ago.
See, that's where many people.
I think we're well beyond that. I also think it was interesting. The caller brought up, and I think he was responding to maybe other people didn't realize it. The fact that there have been people that have talked about the draft. I just think the draft, that'll work its way out pretty cleanly. Like, we'll know 5 games in. If they're 1-4, then I think we all know where this is going to go. Young players are going to play, and they're probably going to just lose games because that's what teams that start a bunch of young players and start out 1-4 do. They end up losing a bunch of games. I mean, that's just what happens.
They could. It's hard because of their history is so bad. So it makes it impossible to sit there during a bad season. Like if they have a bad season this year, it is so difficult to say, yeah, there's talent on this team. Because there's been talent on the team before. Again, they had 6 Pro Bowlers one year. The year they went back when the Pro Bowl was actually something, they had 6 Pro Bowlers in a year that they won 4 games. And I could look at it and go, gosh, you guys got a lot of talent here. If you get the quarterback situation figured out. Yeah, but we've said that so many times as fans, it doesn't mean anything anymore. So until they do anything, it doesn't matter. Like you brought up Aaron Schatz. You've been wanting to talk about this all morning. Aaron Schatz says they have the 4th best roster of guys under 25 years old. Sounds like a good football team. And if they win 5 games, you say that and people are just going to laugh at us. If I were like, hey, they got one of the best rosters under 25, they're a 5-win team. They're just going to laugh at me off the radio. And a guy like Nick, I go through the same amount of emotions that Nick does. I love Nick's call because I have to tell. He has to admit that money doesn't count, and I do think that we're having arguments with people who are just not living in reality. And I know we've made jokes, and I've seen the memes of me being the cult leader, and they're funny. But if I'm going to lead a cult, you see, I have to have people suspend reality. I'm not suspending reality. There is a very distinct chance, as I said on this show, the day that they were hiring Todd Monken, that I was getting texts from more than one people that he likes Deshaun Watson. It wasn't the selling point, but that's what it was. And I've been willing to accept that since day one, that if Deshaun Watson is better, then Deshaun Watson should play. If you're going to leave the decision up to Todd Monken.
All of our conversation has been if it's a tie, which I guess what is the likelihood that it truly would even be close? In the end, do we think this is going to be a close competition, or will somebody make it so obvious in the first week and a half, 2 weeks, and that we're wasting our time?
This is the issue, guys. And I think a lot of people agree with me on this. And I'm going to get to the phones here in a second. I don't think anybody's going to run away with the job. Someone's just going to look way worse than the other one. Am I wrong?
Well, then that would sound like what the national people have said, which is this is the worst or one of the worst quarterback rooms in the NFL.
I think it will come down to, I want it to be the other way. I want a lot of things. I think it's going to come down to one's going to look way worse than the other one. That's the way it goes. Not a good quarterback room. And they know it, and that's why they made the move they did. And that's okay. We are in the process, for this year. I hope that we have some good Sundays. I hope that they're better than the 6 wins I think that they can get this year. I really, really do. Because there are some young, talented players there. But again, people laugh when I say that, and they've done nothing to back me up on that statement. So they have to go out there and do it. So I'm going to get laughed out of the building for the next year, and then we got to go into next year and hope that there's going to be a guy there. So that's where it's going to be, and I'm willing to accept that. I want to see good play from the young ones. I want to see Spencer Fano do well. I want to see him graded well by guys like Brian Baldinger. I want to see Carson Schlesinger have another good year. I want to see Mason Graham take that next step in maturation as a defensive lineman. They tend to get better with age as that goes. These are things that I can write them down and list them off if you want to. That's what I'm looking for this year. If we win some games, that's great. I'd love to win some games. I'd love to have the quarterback situation figured out. I'd love to drop 100 pounds. Maurice in the Bay Area. He's listening on the free Odyssey app. You're next up on the Fan. Hello, Maurice.
What's good, Ken? Talk to me.
It's good to talk to you. Go ahead. What's wrong?
I appreciate you wasting that last caller.
Wait a minute. I like that call. I thought that was a very civilized, good call. Strong call.
But that don't mean the dude is right. It's all going to depend. It's all going to depend on if Shedeur is ready. Like you guys were saying, we need to stop talking about money. Deshaun has been paid. So that's not going to factor into this situation, like whatsoever. Depending on how it looks, I think him liking Deshaun since day one, that's fine. Why hasn't he named him the starting quarterback yet?
Well, because I think they want to. I certainly think that there's a competition there. I can't believe I'm saying this because I've said a long time, Maurice
There's
and
a
Lima.
reason why it's competition. It has nothing to do with Miles getting traded.
I disagree.
It's because of their timeline, kid. He's over 30. He's not part of that 25 and under package. That's why Denzel's possibly going to go. But besides that, the rest of the crew, they're going to play well.
Yeah, but hold on. The only thing I would push back at, Mo, is...
Get in here, Tom.
Yeah, Drake May did just get to the Super Bowl in year 2. So, and
What does that mean?
And that team was considered a disaster just a year prior.
They got a great coach, right? Let's start there. They had a first-round quarterback, right? So the expectations were drastically different in a quote-unquote weak AFC. Patrick Mahomes was hurt. We could go on and on about that. Lamar was hurt in your own division. We could go on and on about those things. Now we have a different situation here with a different coach. Things should be different, and it depends on how it looks. Listen to Mary Kay a little bit. She's on it right now.
Okay. Maurice, thank you very much for the call. Now, when you mentioned Drake May, part of that is reasoning, one, that they weren't in the cap situation we were because they don't have a $230 million quarterback.
They had their draft picks.
Yeah. They had their draft picks. They were able to move guys
that's a good point.
with free agency. They were able to make some interesting trades there, get some weaponry there. Will Campbell, I think that he's a guard in the future. He was playing injured. I feel bad because I thought he did a pretty good job outside of the injuries. It just happened to be where he was banged up and he failed on the world's biggest stage, and that's going to follow him around until they get that monkey off their back. But that's a great example because Maurice says, well, he's a first-round pick. Okay, but I'm not allowed to use the fifth-round thing for even more time for Shedeur? I'm not allowed to do that?
It is funny because the Shedeur people demand that we call Shedeur a first-round pick.
Yeah, one really was. That was Drake May.
Now, Jackson Dart was also... But it seems like they're not all that excited about the head coach anymore after a team meeting I just saw.
Can we play that coming up in the final segment there?
People are clowning.
You got too many things to pay off here.
I know. People are clowning John Harbaugh.
Oh, my God.
I kind of want to zig.
Really?
Or zag. Which is it?
I would like to hear that out when we come back. Ken Carman, Tone Master General. We're throwing each other up. It's been a wild hour.
You told me something about flat Earth or something. And
I said it. We talked about it. Oh, yeah, I paid that off. Yeah. All right. We're just opening up the curtain now because all these wild calls we've been taking. I know, and you had a situation. I'm like, I don't even know what that clock over there said there for a moment. It was a totally different language behind you that was going on.
We were transmitting to Mars.
Owen basically had Apollo 13 playing out in that room over there. All right, stay with us. I'm going to try to get to as many of you guys as possible. I got to hear this John Harbaugh stuff. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on The Fan. Friends, Ken Carman here for the wonderful people.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Leave the garage door open and turn up the fan. Spend the summer with your home for Cleveland Sports Talk. 92.3 The Fan.
Todd Monken's talking tough about Jared Verse, talking tough about this and that, and seems to be a lot of fun. John Harbaugh is a high-level football coach. Now, Todd Monken used to work for him. John Harbaugh's won a Super Bowl, but it seems that there's more people in a Browns uniform responding to Todd Monken than there are in a Giants uniform responding to John Harbaugh. Here's audio courtesy of the New York Giants. Hit it.
A little nervous? A little nervous, man. Nervous, excited nervous, you know? Nervous like you're full of game almost, man. So give this thing kick off. Standing up here in front of the New York Giants. The New York Giants. It's the New York Giants sitting in this room. The New York Giants. Wow, it's an honor. It's an honor to stand in front of this room right now. And I know those coaches back there feel the same way, right, coaches? Certainly. It's an honor, man. We've been working, haven't we? We've been working early and we were late getting ready for today. Today. Sitting in this chair, in this seat, getting to work, getting started, our beginning. Because this is where it all begins, together.
Okay, it didn't sound good. The floor is yours. I know what you want to say, so the floor is yours.
Saw this. It actually looks worse than it sounds.
It sounds terrible.
And they show everybody packed in there, the players in the first 20 rows and then the coaches. And I just don't understand why the players couldn't even feign excitement for their new coach who's been a Super Bowl champion and who has won a lot of football games.
Are those veterans or are those rookies?
It looked like everybody. I thought I saw Jackson Dart right there.
So it's a whole group.
That's what it looked like to me. So I don't know if that was from minicamp.
There's a lot of players here, so that's probably the whole group. So you're mad at the players for not responding?
I don't understand where is the enthusiasm? Well, do they really?
Can I go after the messenger a little bit?
Well, sure. It's not a good speech.
Well, that's the thing. Not every speech I've given has been a humdinger either, but let me tell you. Some of these guys already play for the Giants. The reason they brought you in is because you got to get the Giants back to being the Giants. And I know that sounds silly. You haven't been that organization in a while. That's why they brought you in. You're supposed to be the one with gravitas. So you're supposed to walk in and go, the way you've been doing things ain't the way we're doing them anymore. And if you want to do them the old way, you can go down the hallway and get your ass out of here or go get a trade, or I don't give a bleep what you do because we're going to have people who want to be with this football team. They hired me for a reason, and you're with me. Because the Giants, to these guys, to this group, they don't mean nothing no more. If I became the head coach of the Browns, I could sit there and go, Paul Brown.
Well, they do that.
Jim Brown.
Every time they do that.
Otto Graham. And these guys are 22 years old and don't know because they're not even from here. So if I were a Super Bowl, Owen Laudeman's a Super Bowl winning head coach. Better example, he beat me down at the shoe.
It is a better example.
If Owen Laudeman is a Super Bowl winning head coach and he gets canned by his former team and he comes to Cleveland, he's like, I'm the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. It ain't about our recent history or our history at all. It's about how things have got to change. And Owen would turn around and say, I'm here to change things, but it ain't my team, it's yours. And we'll sink and swim because of you. So I could sit here and scream and yell at you all I want, but it ain't my team. It's got to be from you guys in that leadership. It was just, to me, it was just kind of the wrong message. I'm sure everybody else is like, you're the Giants, you should act like the Giants. I don't think these guys know what it means.
Yeah, I get that. I just want to know, where's the excitement about a new head coach? They already... Are they already just over having an older head coach and they want somebody flashier? Is that what it is?
No, you want to go with somebody you trust. I bet NIL's different, but there's definitely people who wanted to go and be at UNC because it's Bill Belichick. they wanted to be with a legend. Like, you still want to be with somebody you trust. And John Harbaugh gives you a lot of reasons to trust that guy. I just think it was not a great speech.
Somebody you trust is a good thing on the radio, especially. We had that caller Nick on earlier. I'm derailing the show right now. We had that caller Nick on earlier. You and him got into it kind of over Shedeur and Deshaun and all that, and who the starting quarterback is. I'm going to play a little bit of that call from Nick.
Yes or no? Have I ever said that even if Deshaun Watson is better than Shedeur Sanders, I still want to play Shedeur Sanders?
Probably not. I don't
Bingo!
listen to you every day, every minute, so probably
Bingo!
not.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate your time.
That made me think. I think I heard you say that before, Ken. I think I did. So I went searching, and I found something from March 31st. Now, that's a little bit of time ago, but here's this.
We could sit here and grind it out all we want to and yell at each other and block each other on social media, but I still think it's going to end up with the same result. I would obviously, as you can hear in my voice, I'd much rather start Shedeur Sanders just to kick the tires and see what we have on him. I'd rather not have Deshaun Watson play for us again because I don't think we're ever getting gold out of them there hills. I think the mine is empty. Yeah, but I never said if he wasn't better, I would play him.
Now,
what did I say there that was different?
Well, you said you'd much rather have Shedeur over Deshaun Watson.
And that is still
even
true.
If there's gold in the mine.
No. I said there's no gold in that mine. I just said that. You played it. I just said that. I'd like to kick the tires on Shedeur. That's not changed. If Deshaun Watson goes out there and he's throwing the ball all over the place and he's looking good, play Deshaun Watson. That's never changed.
I do think it has changed a little bit over time. Personally, as a guy who's said in this room, I'm not killing you on it. I just think it has changed. The messaging has changed a little bit, and it's come since the OTAs where we started to hear this. Like before, like into May, there was no thought that Deshaun Watson would ever be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns again, right? Like
I thought we'd never see him again.
No. When they hired him, again, I brought it up. Like, I had to accept, and we talked about that on the air and other shows, I had to accept that the possibility was there. I was ready to slam the door shut and kick the safe into the river. No.
Because I personally would still just rather see Shedeur even over a better Deshaun Watson, unless he's all pro level. I mean, he'd have to be, but we're not going to know that.
We said, what are the odds that happens?
But I don't think the odds are high. But if one guy is clearly better than the other one, I really think it's a race to the bottom, and one guy is just not nearly ready. I hate to say it would probably be more because of the veteran status. It would probably be more Shedeur. Yeah, I hate to say it, but I'm willing to accept it. I'm willing to accept these things. I'm not going to kick and scream unless the only way I can see myself being ripping of Todd Monken is if Deshaun Watson goes out there, sucks, and then they put Shedeur Sanders in like week 3 and Shedeur goes and throws for 300 yards and they blow him out or something. And then I go, what the hell have we been doing during camp in the last 2 weeks? While I'm happy we've won, I have to question Todd Monken as an evaluator now. Which is something I'd actually probably say on a Tuesday because I'd be very happy that we won. Now that's me. But no, I ever since that text we got that day where I'm going, oh my God, yeah, we got to get ready for possibilities. Not with the no. If Deshaun Watson is better, mark any date. I'll accept it.
Mary Kay said he's ahead. Nathan yesterday said he's ahead.
Then I have to accept
Vets get
that.
in on Tuesday. Rookies today. Vets on Tuesday.
Ooh. Rookies are today and vets are on Tuesday. Well, that's a long weekend without them vets.
Next week.
Oh man, yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Have a wonderful day, friends. Hey.
Sounds good. Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Oh!